Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of the Design Critique. Today we are continuing the trend of Spider-Man with Spider-Man 2. And so this might be a longer one than usual. I mean, they're always long, but this might be pretty long. But yeah, this is your warning because yeah, there's some spoiler costumes in this game, and the way the structure of this video is going to go as such. We're going to do Peter's costumes, then we're going to do Miles's costumes, then we're going to do the DLC costumes, and then we're going to do the spoiler ones at the very end. And there's some stuff that I have to say about some of those. So we're saving the best for last. I don't know if I'd say the best, but we're saving the most talkable ones for last. But yeah, so this is going to be a thing. This is going to be, yeah. So yeah, this game has a lot of not very good costumes in it. I'm just going to say it right now. It's got a lot of real bad ones, as a matter of fact. But yeah, I had intended on doing this a lot sooner after the Miles Morales one. But I figured I should probably leave it a while because there's a couple of story spoiler costumes, and I was like, I should probably leave it for a little while before I start going into those. So I suppose that's why I decided to leave it till now. But yeah, anyways. I will we'll roll the intro and then yeah, we'll get into this. God.
Let's go.
Okay, so the structure that we're going to go for, as I mentioned, is Peter, Miles, DLC, spoilers. So we're starting out with Peter, and because of the nature of the way this game works, there's the costumes, and then there's the variations, the color variations. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rank the costume and I'm going to rank the color variations separately. So they're both going to have their own number grade. And effectively I'm only going to be the costume that I'm rating is obviously the first one. But because of the way these pictures are organized, I am having to work off of effectively the closest one to the camera, which is basically always the second one. However, I can still get a pretty good view of the first one in every instance. But yeah, so first things first, we've got the Advanced Suit 2.0, which I like a lot more than the regular Advanced Suit. The reason for that is because it's a little bit more colorful, and also it's got a little bit more sleekness to it, and obviously along the arms it's a little bit more conformed. The white pops a little bit more. The red is a little nicer color. The blue it's not quite as dull as it was before. The red is a little bit of a sweeter red. It's not quite so orangey as it was before. It had a bit of an orangey tone to it in the previous game. And again, the white is kind of nicely dispersed. It's got this little trim here. I kind of like the way everything flows. I'd say this is a pretty solid 9 as a costume. Yeah, I'd say it's a pretty solid 9. I think I prefer it to the other one, but since this game has a lot of the same costumes as the previous game, I'm only going to rate the color variations for those ones where appropriate. So some of them aren't going to have any color variations, so I'm not going to really mention those at all. I'll just say the rating stands for the previous one, because it's the same model, more or less. It's probably an updated model, but largely they're the same thing. And with a lot of Peter's ones, there's a lot of movie ones, so I mean, yeah, not much to really go into. So now we've got the color variations for the Advanced Suit. I don't mind this red and black one. I kind of wish the red wasn't so pinky. If they were going to do this, I would have preferred if it was just the same red. I think that would have been nice if it was just red and black with the same red. I don't know why it has to be like a really, really pinky one. I'm not huge on this one. The blue and red one, I don't like. I don't like this very much at all. And then I don't know what the hell they were thinking with this. Why would you want yellow and white Spider-Man? Is this a reference to something? I don't think it is. But it just looks really weird and bad. I think this is really terrible. This just mustard Spider-Man. It's gross. So I think I'm going to give the color variations of this one like a 5, because I think this one's okay, but the other two are real bad. So I think there's one color variation which is okay here, which is the thing that's going to happen a lot here, is that one of the color variations is okay, the rest of them real bad in a lot of instances. But yeah, so what do we got next? Next we've got the black suit, the first black suit, and I don't really like it all that much. I don't really like it all that much. I don't like this game's version of the black suit all that much because it's quite like gross. It's kind of goopy. I don't think it should look that way. I think the first black suit should look kind of like a costume, whereas this one, it's got like the weird kind of like gritty texture along the sides of it. This kind of like weird muscular texture on the arms and the back of his neck has it, along the sides of his legs and his hips and all. Yeah, it just looked quite gross. Also, the white on his hand it's really minimal. It's like really, really subtle. It should be like a full white block to me, but I just don't really much care for that. And again, it's got like these little wrapping bits, and I get the idea that they're trying to go for here, that it's supposed to look like armor-ish, but it just looks a little too obviously evil, I think. I think it shouldn't look this evil immediately. I think it should look kind of more like a costume at the start, and then maybe over the course of the game it becomes a more evil-looking costume, which does happen, but just I feel like it's not quite got what I want, which is I think it should look more like a normal costume. So with that said, I'd say I'm thinking more like a 7 for this. It's still pretty good. It's not bad. I don't dislike it, but it's just not really what I want. I kind of, it's not to my tastes, so to speak. I would say that I would prefer a more normal looking costume out of this same idea. I don't really want it to be too goopy, and that's the kind of problem I have with it. It's a little too goopy for my tastes. But yeah, so it's a 7. It's a 7. I don't love it. It's okay. It's okay. There's better versions of the black suit, but this ain't it. So yeah. What's next? Next, we've got the classic suit. And so obviously I've already ranked the classic suit. So now it is the color variations of it. And I don't know, I just like, we've got another blue and red one, but it's a weird purpley blue and a kind of a dark red, which I don't much care for. And then there's the red and black, which is pretty basic. And then there's this one, which is mostly the same as the first one, but it's got a white spider on it. That seems to be the only difference. And maybe it's a little lighter. I think it's slightly lighter. I think the red and black here looks pretty decent. This one is ultimately completely pointless. This one on the right, and then the blue and red I just don't care for at all. This is, I think, another 5. Again, it's a case of where the color variations here, they've only one of them is halfway decent. The other 2 suck. And then the default is obviously the default. It's just red and blue. But yeah, like the other one's just kind of, I don't know what the point of them is. I don't know why you'd wear these because they're so ugly. Yeah, it's a lot of this stuff of where they've just kind of filled out a lot of these things with really ugly costumes, like really ugly color schemes that they've added on top of these costumes. And I don't know what the point of it is, because who wants to wear this? Like, you want to look cool, largely in a game. You largely want to make your character look cool, but I generally find that a lot of these costumes, like, I mean, we're pretty early in the list, but a lot of these costumes have really ugly color variations, if they aren't by default ugly, which is a problem that we'll get to later. But yeah, that's a 5 on those color variations. So what's next? Next we've got Scarlet 3. Does this come from something? I don't know. Does it come from something? I've never seen this one before. It's okay, I guess. It's weird that this is the kind of, I guess I'm assuming this is a Scarlet Spider suit. I would assume based on the name, but yeah, like this feels like it's weird that they have this and not the Scarlet Spider 2, because there's a lot of suits in this game. There's a lot of suits missing from the first 2 games, which I think is kind of weird, because there was a lot of good ones which haven't come back, and then they've brought back a lot of weird bad ones. Which I don't understand what the point of. I don't understand the point of them. But you can see with this that it's still got the same multi-tone thing that I quite liked from the Scarlet Spider 2. You can see it along here, and you can see it here as well, the slightly darker black and the slightly darker red along the edges of this blue. And then obviously there's different textures of blue. Let's see if I can zoom in. Not very much. You can see there's slightly different textures along the blue piece here, where there's the shiny bit on the shoulder, and then that comes down into a kind of a more matte finish, slightly glossy finish on the arms, and then obviously the core bodysuit is a more matte tone. So yeah, there's some decent enough texture work here. The belt I think is okay. It stands out a little much. I don't think it really needs to be there actually. I think that the front piece doesn't need to be there. Like the buckle you could probably remove and just have the rest of it strap into the kind of core body piece, and I think that'd be okay. I think that'd kind of fill the same role. I don't think it really needs to be that way. Yeah, I think, yeah, largely the belt is kind of a weird one to me. I think largely this doesn't really do anything for me, I think is my big feeling on it. I'm feeling, it feels like a 6 to me. Because it doesn't really do a huge amount for me. Even though it's well modeled, it looks okay, but it's just like, it's not super cool, it's not super interesting. The hood doesn't add much. Again, you've got these big knee pads and stuff like this. And that's just the costume alone. I think the soles are okay on the shoes. I think on the bottoms of his feet, he's got these little bits of soles, which I think are all right. The stripes coming up from the knuckles, I don't much care for, into this kind of like glove shape that comes around like this. A lot of this I don't much care for. It's not really to my taste. The spider, I don't like the separated pieces on the spider. I never really like that. I prefer whenever it's just all the one shape. But yeah, I think that's a 6. The color variations are just bad. They're pretty bad. The yellow, they've done the yellow a lot now on Spider-Man, and I don't know why they keep doing it, because it does not look good. Then there's this weird ass one on the right with the white and the blue, and then the red symbol. I don't really get that. It's a bit of a weird collection of things in terms of color. None of this really comes together very well. It doesn't really blend. It does just feel like they've gotten kind of random colors for these extra suits. Like a lot of the kind of color variations, they just feel completely random. Like 2 of these are basically identical with the red and black and the yellow and black. Like what's the point in having 2 which are pretty much the same tone, but there's like pretty much the same thing, but one color has changed? What's the point in that? What's the point in having, like, especially whenever it's one color that doesn't really make sense to change? I think largely they should still be at their core still Spider-Man costumes, right? That would make sense to me. I should still have the red and the blue, right? That would make sense. Or if they don't have that, they should still have tones which make sense for that costume. Like here with the white and the blue, it just looks weird. It doesn't really make much sense to me for the kind of costume. It doesn't look right on it. The red and the blue here, the costume's clearly designed for that color scheme, so it feels a lot more appropriate in that sense. So I don't know. Color variations, I think most of these are going to be given 5s to, but this one I think I'm giving a 4 to, because I don't really, actually no, I'm giving it a 3 because I don't really like any of these. None of them really make any sense. 2 of them are nearly identical, and the last one is just really weird. So yeah, I'm saying these are like a 3 on the color variations here. So now what do we got? Now we've got the advanced suit, the first advanced suit, and so now you can see all the little extra lines that kind of don't need to be there along the inside here that don't really come out as much, but obviously we've already ranked the advanced suit. I think I still like the advanced suit. I obviously prefer the new one now, and you can see that this blue is really dull. The red is really kind of like orangey. It's quite an orangey tone. And then obviously there's maybe a little too much white in certain places, and then things just kind of don't connect where they should. Like the body piece shouldn't disconnect here. I think it looks weird. I don't think it should disconnect from like the waist piece, and I don't think there should be these like weird like side bits. I don't think they look very good on the sides of the legs. I don't think they look very good. I think the arm should fully connect. These are things they fix. These are things they fix with the advanced suit too. Now, already ranked the advanced suit last time. Now we've got the color schemes, and again we're back to the same problem that we consistently have. So this one, blue, red, and black symbol. You'd think that a thing they'd do, maybe, based on... I wouldn't mind here if there was a red and a blue, just a basic red and blue, kind of like this, but maybe you had the same tones as the new one, but it had a black symbol. All the white bits were now black. I wouldn't mind if they did something like that. That'd be okay. That'd look cool, I think. if it was just the normal red and blue, but with the black symbol and black pieces. But that's not what they've done here, and he's got red rims on his eyes for some reason, and it looks kind of bad. But the blue and the red here, not very good at all. There's the black suit variation, which has obviously the white symbol, white eyes, white all these pieces, and then the core kind of costume is black. I think this one's okay. It's fine. Yeah, it's kind of fine. It doesn't really blow my mind. It's kind of the exact thing you'd expect, really. It's color variation that makes it look like the black suit. I'm surprised that most of the suits don't have that. I'm quite surprised, actually, that most suits don't have a black suit variation in terms of their colors, because it'd be an easy fix to say, oh, well, it makes sense for you to be using black suit powers with all of these suits now. I don't know. It feels like it would be a thing that would make sense to have all the suits have a black suit variation like this, but they don't for some reason. And then you just get this one, which is hideous, with the yellow eyes, the yellow, just all this yellow and then green. This is real gross in terms of a color scheme. It's a real gross color scheme. I hate this. I hate this quite a lot, actually. I think I'm giving these a 4 as well. This one gets like a 7. If I want to break my own rules a little bit, I'm giving the black suit variation a 7 because it's an idea. All of them should have this. All the suits should have this, but they don't. And then there's just 2 really dreadful ones, so I'm thinking that's like a 3 or a 2 on this, maybe. On a general, because even though the black suit one is decent, these other ones are so bad that it really brings everything down, I think. So yeah, that's like a 3 or a 2. I kind of don't know they're that bad. So now I've got the Kumo suit. So I don't really get this one. It's quite strange. I can't tell if this one's one of those ones which has like some animated effects on it, because it doesn't seem to have normal shading. It seems to have like a slight variation in terms of like color scheme to a degree. Because like you can see on the trousers that it's got this kind of like smudgy kind of shading on it, which looks a little different than what you'd normally get. But yeah, like it's kind of not really to my tastes. It's a bit of a weird costume. This is the thing. It feels like they've selected costumes where you either get, with Peter, you get movie suits or you get really weird suits. You don't get any of the kind of ones that people really want. There's a lot of new costumes in here. Like, this is completely unfamiliar to me. I'm pretty sure this is probably very new. So I'm like, okay, I'm assuming this is like a pretty new one because it's completely unfamiliar to me. 5? Like 5? I don't know. It's not really to my taste. It's very weird. It's got a lot of like bits of design that I'm not huge on. Like a lot of the stuff on the arms I don't love. It's a bit busy. It's got all these kind of little pieces on the core body piece that I'm not huge on. I kind of don't fully know what's going on with the head, to be honest. These are obviously the eyes, but is that like a mouth that's going on there? There's like these little clamps that appear to be kind of like pulling into this like it seems to be kind of like wrapping into the little bonnet, for lack of a better word. That's kind of what it looks like. It looks like a little bonnet that he's wearing, and yeah, I don't know. It feels like a 5. It seems kind of the same with the color variants. I don't mind the black and white one, actually. I actually quite like this, because it looks like it's kind of like shaded like it's like actually that it's been in monochrome, like it's actually in a black and white filter. Because the way that the white hits the top here, it looks kind of has a bit of a hazy glow to it. So I quite like that, actually, within reason. And I think there is like a slight animated effect to this of some variety, like a slight stylization to it in some places, because it does look like that. That light isn't hitting it quite the same way, because all the tops of the head is kind of like slightly glowing. I don't know if that's just the way that the game processes colors, but it does kind of look like that. And there's certain bits of it which are kind of, yeah, as I say on the trousers, there's the way that kind of the light is hitting it in like a sort of smudgy way. So there's effort here. There is an effort to make it look interesting, but it's just a very weird costume to me. And it's very much not to my tastes, I would say. So I think the overall costume's like a 5, and I think the colors are mostly the same thing, because really they're not dramatically different in any way. Like this one's just red and black, this one's just blue and like a slightly kind of greeny tone. It's a little weird looking, but the whole costume's kind of weird looking, so it doesn't feel super out of place, oddly enough. And then this last one's pretty decent, but yeah, it's not a suit that I think I would use, because it's quite strange. But yeah, 5 overall really on that one. We got the hybrid suit. Already ranked this one. Don't need to go into it much more. It's the same as it was before. Don't much care for it. I don't much care for most of the movie costumes. I don't know why this is the first movie costume you unlock. It's kind of weird. Don't like indented webs. If you want to hear more about that, watch the previous, watch the one I did on Spider-Man Remastered, because I talk a lot about it there. Don't like indented webs. Talked about the Amazing Spider-Man suit as well. The textures are kind of all fighting for your attention, and it just leads to this kind of weird mess of lines, and I feel like some of the textures are darker than they should be. Like darker than they were in the movie. I don't like it very much. The way that this looks is a bit of a mess. I don't love it. I don't much care for it. But yes, if you want to hear me talk about more of that one, that was also in the Spider-Man Remastered one. Now we get the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit, and it feels like really dull, like the colors I mean on it. It's not fully screen accurate. The spider is pretty low on his chest, I think. I don't think it was that low on his chest in the movie. Like it feels like really low on his chest, and that it's kind of small. I remember the spider in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 being pretty big. Yeah, it's kind of weird, and this is like practically purple. It's not really blue at all. Like the blue on him is so dull that it's like completely washed out. It's funny because for the longest time in movies, this would have been the most comic accurate costume that they had, because of the eyes and the way that the suit looked as a whole. But I don't know if it's just the way that it's rendered in this game, but it just doesn't look very good. Something about it just doesn't work for me. Something about it just looks really not great to me. And with the way that these colors kind of sit here, they're just kind of a bit messy. Yeah. At the very least, it's not got like a bunch of lines or anything. It's got a couple of like a little seam coming here and a little seam at the groin. But it's got a few of these little seams, and they're very subtle. You can't really see them a lot of the time. If you zoom in, you can kind of see it, but certain things like the eyes feel a little close, or are they a little too far? There's something about the way that his eyes are sitting on his head that isn't looking quite right to me. It's the same thing with his symbol, the fact that it's a little too low on his chest and it doesn't look quite big enough. That seems wrong to me. That's just not quite sitting right in that sense. Yeah, I don't much like this. I don't know if it's the way that it's rendered in game. It just doesn't look right. It doesn't look right. I think it's like a 6. I don't much care for a lot of movie suits as a whole, but just this one doesn't really sit right in a lot of places. Like, there's a few weird like inaccuracies. I think they're inaccuracies. I've not seen the movie in a very, very long time. I only watched it the once, but it doesn't look quite right in a lot of places. It's not quite there to me. I don't know. It doesn't look exactly how it should to me. I think it's like a 6. I don't know. That one's a little weird. Now what do we got? We've got the 2099 black suit. So, So, I obviously already ranked the 2099 black suit. I quite like how it looks in these games. It's a little dull, but or in terms of colors, I think it could stand to have a much, much brighter red. But, yeah, I think it could stand to have a much brighter red. I think the blue, naturally, should be darker. However, since we've already ranked this costume in the previous game, and it doesn't look appreciably different, we're ranking the color variations, and this time they actually have one which is as it's supposed to be. This suit is supposed to be red and black. However, I do wish the red was a little brighter. I wish the red was really, really bright. That's my only kind of gripe that I'm kind of feeling with this one. That's kind of not got the brightness that I would want from it. That it's not kind of doing what I want in that sense of where I feel like it needs to have a bit more sharpness to the red in that way, and the black could stand to be darker with like a blue highlight, maybe, because they, in other suits later on, they've established that they can do the highlight colors. They only do it with one suit, but this is the thing, it's the only one where they do that. And I kind of wish they'd done it here, where there's like a slight blue highlight, or like a very light blue tinge or something. Because it should still have the blue rim light to it, that's how it was in the comics, but it's obviously supposed to be black. But yeah, this is obviously the one that I've the most to talk about. This is just kind of generic kind of sort of black suit variation. Again, I think all suits in this game should have this, the black suit variation, so that you can write in some sort of explanation of like, oh well, there's some sort of like lip service paid to the idea of all the suits having a kind of a black suit variation, so it makes a degree of sense for you to be doing black suit powers with them. Because it feels weird to be in just a generic red and blue and then be doing black suit powers. It feels weird in that sense. But yeah, I like the red and black one a lot. I like the white and black one a decent amount. And then there's this one at the end, this weirdo one, which has like this really bright neon blue, and then the it's like a kind of a greeny blue, and then the purple. But then it's got these black bits on it as well. Even the black suit one has like this slight blue, these slight bluey bits on it, whereas the black and red one is fully black. Well, there's slightly darker bits on it. Yeah, there's bits which are slightly darker than others. It's the same on the default one that was in the first game as well. I don't know if I talked about it much, but yeah, it has the multiple tones in there, but it just looks a little bit messy. It's the same on all these suits. It still looks a little bit messy with the way that the colors kind of hit each other. But this last one I don't much care for. It's a little much, in my opinion. The purple and the neon blue, the neon colors are a little much here, I think. I think they're pretty hard on the eyes. Yeah, I think largely, though, these color variations are like an 8. These are good color variations, aside from the last one. I like the red and black. I like the white and black. They look pretty good. These are pretty good color variations, all in all. And it's appropriate that this is the suit that has the good color variations, because this is one of the suits where you have more that you kind of have to do. Not even that you have to do, but if you're going to do color variations on the 2099 suit, you're going to do a classic black and red, because that's how it's supposed to look. So, anyways, what else have we got? Now we got the Scarlet Spider. Already did this one. I like the Scarlet Spider well enough, but I really liked how they modeled it in the first game. I like all the multiple textures and how it all kind of comes together. Now these color variations. Let's see. So, So, I don't like this black, red, and yellow one. It feels weird. I don't like the idea of it, really. And there's another one here, which is like a really aggressive purple with the green eyes and the black hoodie. Just there's a lot of colors going on in this that just don't need to be there. And then there's just the generic kind of color swap one, where it's red hoodie, blue undersuit. I think all these are pretty bad. This is the one which has the most interesting stuff going on, because the red hoodie has like a slight dark gradient to it. Like it starts kind of dark and then gets lighter as it goes up. It's not just the solid color that the other three have. There's a little bit of difference to this one, where it's got this kind of like dark wash gradient that kind of goes up it, that some of the spider symbol kind of blends into, which is interesting enough. But just the colors that they've chosen here. If this was just like black, I think I wouldn't mind it quite so much, but the yellow just really doesn't fit at all. The yellow is weird as hell. And then the green on this one is really terrible. These are like a 4 out of 10 on these color variations, I think. I mean, the blue and red is not good in any version of this. It just doesn't look very good. And they've made like the wrist pieces and the ankle pieces red as well for some reason. Same with the full belt, like there's all random bits of red here. That's just not great. I wouldn't mind if they had like a feature in the game where you could make your own color variations, something like that. I mean, that's probably a lot more work, but it feels like with the kind of randomness of the ones that they've chosen that these feel like they're user created, like the weird random stuff that a user would make, as opposed to a kind of the more, as you would imagine, like the more sleek, handcrafted color schemes that you'd expect. These feel like kind of weird and like kind of user generated. Just the way that they look just isn't very good. A lot of these color variations, it feels like some of these they just didn't have an idea for what the color variations were, and they just did weird stuff. Look on the advanced suit, that one which had the yellow symbol, it's really weird. They keep throwing random bits of yellow in here. Yellow is not a Spider-Man color, and it doesn't look very good on Spider-Man. Same with green. It just doesn't look very good on him. So now what? What's next? Now we got the Superior suit, which is one of the few new ones. Yeah, one of the few new ones, which is also it also has a bunch of different color variations. Peter doesn't have many new suits in this game. A lot of them are movie suits, or they're ones from previous game, or the ones from the previous game. So this is a new one. This is, technically speaking, in the comics, this is the second Superior suit because he has two. The first one is just a kind of normal Spider-Man suit, but instead of blue, it's black. But I think they've done a really good job with this. I think it looks really cool. I unfortunately can't get a very good look at the default colors, but I like the red, I like the black. It's got the multiple textures thing that I like. But there's not too many textures though. It's kind of really overpowering in any sense. The webs look a little weird. They're quite messy. I don't remember if that's how the webs look in the comics or not. It's been a long time since I've seen any Superior Spider-Man. I do like this costume though. I like the way that the spider blends into the rest of the costume. None of the other color variations have it though, unfortunately. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good one. I think this is like a solid 8 in terms of the default costume. I think it's like a solid 8 on how it looks. I like the way that the webs sit, even though they're kind of messy. I like the way the webs sit. I think the eyes are a nice change. They look different. I like that they've made them look different. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. All in all, it's a pretty cool suit. Don't have much to say about it, really. I never have much to say about the Superior suit. It's a good one. It's a good suit, but like, there's better suits in my opinion. It's very similar. If you've ever seen the Alex Ross Spider-Man costume, the Assassin Spider-Man costume, it's very similar to that, where he's got black lenses and just the red top piece where the spider kind of blends into the rest of it, and the rest of it's black. It's very similar, but the red on it is a kind of a more orangey tone on that one. But yeah, it's a decent suit. Now the color variations, I think these are pretty solid color variations. Even though some of them are weird, I actually don't mind them. All in all, the blue one here, the blue actually doesn't look bad. They've used a decent tone of blue that doesn't feel like it goes crazy overboard. And the gold that they've used here on like some of these pieces on the knuckles and then into like some of the inlays, it's not like a really overpowering color, so it doesn't like really like attack the eyes or the senses as a whole. It's just kind of, it does a little bit more, it kind of blends in a little bit more. It doesn't overpower anything, and it adds a little bit of an extra highlight, which is nice. And then the different tones of blue all are pretty decent. They're a similar tone to what the red is. They're not like a completely different shade. It's not like a neon blue that really blasts and overpowers everything. And yeah, there's this like slightly kind of these dark blues that are kind of mixed into the rest of the design. That's pretty decent. There's the kind of Miles color scheme here, the black and red, of where everything's mostly black, and then there's the red highlights. I think this one's okay. It's pretty decent. Yeah, I think overall this one's okay. I don't mind it. There's not much to say about it, but it's a decent enough color scheme. It's not one that I would particularly use, but I think again, most of these I'd just use the default. I wouldn't really use many of the color variations because I don't think most of them look very good. But even these ones I don't mind, but they're just not as... I would prefer the original in this instance. This is the weird one, but here's the weirder thing. This weird, like, kind of like... I don't know, like this, like I don't know how to even describe this color scheme. The white and, like, really neon green. Why does this one not look bad? Why does this not look bad? I kind of like the white here. I think it looks pretty interesting. Again, it's a similar, like, really bright tone to a lot of the other colors. And the green isn't like too crazy either. The green it's a decent highlight against these other colors. The color synergy is pretty nice here. The white, green, and black is pretty okay, I think. Even though I wouldn't consider any of these particularly Spider-Man-ish colors, I don't dislike it. I think overall this is like a 9 on the color variations. Even though the costume is an 8, the color variations are really good. I wouldn't say that they're actually better than the costume, but they don't make the costume look worse. None of them make the costume look worse, which is what most of the color variations do here. Most of them, at least one of them, makes the costume look worse. And even though these are all kind of weird, these ones, they don't look that bad. They've selected color palettes which are pretty decent. They work for the costume. They accentuate the decent parts of the costume. They don't kind of really like draw your eye in weird places. They look pretty alright. I like these pretty well. These are like a 9 on the color variations, even though the costume itself is, you know, I'm elevating the costume to a 9. All of this is a 9. Overall 9. Because I don't think we're going to be getting many great costumes like this as we go along. So now we got the anti-ox suit, which I already rated before, and I don't really like it as a whole. I already don't really love the anti-ox suit. I explained that more in the Spider-Man Remastered video. Now we've got the color variations on this, and Jesus. Okay. Oh god, excuse me. I had you on there for a second. Very tired today. It's very dark today as well. Yeah, geez, what do I even say about these color variations? So right, first thing we've got the blind your enemies costume, of where this is so bright that I think genuinely people would go blind in its presence. And I think the kind of soft glow around it is just the way that this game processes like light hitting surfaces. For some reason, there's like a soft glow coming off of this. This is terrible. This is real bad. I don't know why you would want this. And then the red and white, this is also terrible. I don't know why you'd want to wear this either. It's like a really unappealing shade of it as well. Like this kind of horrid blotchiness to it. It's like a really nasty shade before it's got all this kind of gross blotchiness to it. Yeah, it doesn't look very nice at all. This one I hate entirely. And then the green and brown on armor. Why would you go for green and brown? Green and brown would be like in my mind, green and brown is a color scheme that you use on a character whenever you're doing like robes or something, because green and brown feels like it's kind of like earth tones. It's very natural tones. So you'd use that on like a robe. You use that on like a wizard or something, someone who's supposed to be connected to nature, something like that. That's a color scheme that you use for that. Why would you use it on like a robo armor like this? Why would you use it like that? Why is this green and brown? Why is this like this? These are like a 1. These are terrible. These are awful. These color variations. These are absolutely dreadful. Why would you ever use these? This is absolutely trash. These color variations. This is like a 1. God, that is really terrible. Jesus, yeah, that's like a 1. That's real bad. Christ. So now we've got Arachnite. I don't know what this is from, or if this is from anything. This is basically a costume to tell you that, hey, we're doing physics objects on our costumes now, which is nice, but, you know, I don't know that capes are really what I'm looking for in this. It's a weird costume. The kind of the white cape and white kind of a lot of this and the armor, and it's Batman. It's this weird Batman costume. It's a very short cape though. I would have maybe gone for a longer cape on this. I don't know that I have very much to say on this. The pouches and stuff I don't care for. I don't care for much of this really. It's got this kind of weird like like TV show superhero costume texture to it, if that makes any sense. This very shiny kind of like leathery look on the kind of core body piece here that looks, yeah, it looks like a costume from like a superhero TV show. That just isn't very nice looking. This kind of like neck piece I don't love. The kind of like scarfy piece here. It's like a 5. I don't really care one way or another for it. It's okay. I don't love it. I don't really feel anything about it though. I don't feel any which way about it. It's a costume. It's a costume and I'm sure somebody likes it, but it's definitely not for me. Now, God almighty, these color variations. So we've got some especially awful ones here. We've got black, a sort of browny color, and then orange. Orange. Not a particularly Spider-Man-like color to me, I would say. Not to my tastes, the orange. Definitely not to my taste. I don't like this whatsoever. Then we've got the blue and the white. I don't know how many which ways I have to say it. The blue generally does not look very good on Spider-Man. The superior suit was the exception. The blue just is it's not doing it. Not doing it for me in any way. But this kind of neck piece, which I assume is part of the cape, is actually white here, so that's weird. Yeah, this one looks bad. And now we've got the Ronald McDonald version. Jesus. Why do they keep putting yellow on these Spider-Man costumes? Do they think it looks good? Do they think this looks good? This Ronald McDonald costume? Like, is this their preference? Do they like the yellow Spider-Man? Is that what they're going for here? These yellow costumes, which are just really, really rough. Really rough. Jeez. God, I don't know. No, this is all bad. This Ronald McDonald. This is terrible. He's got, and also there's a bit of orange thrown in here for no reason. Like his neckerchief is like a weird orange color here. Why? This is terrible. Oh god, these are again like a 2 on the color variations here. These are really bad color variations. I don't know why you use any of these. These are really bad color variations. I don't remember what I even gave the main costume at this point. 5, I think. It's like a 5. It's fine. The costume is fine. It doesn't do anything for me, but I'm sure it's a nice thing to have there anyways. It's a different one. Having one with a cape, I guess, is interesting, but it's not much really to my taste. I don't know why if you're going to give a character a cape, you don't do Spider-Man Unlimited, because he has the web cape. Where's Spider-Man Unlimited? That's my big question. Where is he? I asked for Spider-Man Unlimited. They did not give Spider-Man Unlimited. I'm somewhat disappointed, actually. I kind of figured that if they were going to do Spider-Man Unlimited costume, this would be the game, but I guess not. Because of all the physics objects on the costumes, I would have figured they'd do it at some point. But I guess not. We're not getting that this time, unfortunately. Maybe next time. Maybe it'll be DLC. Maybe I'll do a DLC costume. I'm assuming there'll be DLC costumes for this game anyways, because there was DLC for the last game. But I can only pray that they actually add some halfway decent suits, because holy god, there's some terrible ones. Oh, right. And so now, this is where the monkey's paw curled its finger. So if you watched the design critique that I did on Spider-Man Remastered, you'll remember that I said I really liked their version of the noir suit, but I'd like a version which had the hat and trench coat, just to have it in a game, because you never get that version. It's always just the normal version without the hat and the trench coat. However, the monkey's paw curled, and we got one which had the hat and trench coat, but unfortunately it's the Into the Spider-Verse version. It's not a normal suit, which, like, I like the Spider-Verse suits well enough, but there's a lot of them in this game. There's a lot of Spider-Verse suits in this game, which I just don't think needed to be there. Again, I'm happy we got a version with the hat and trench coat, and it was the Spider-Verse version. But I don't think this should have come at the cost of the other noir suit. Why is the other noir suit not in this game? That suit was great. Why not both? Why not have both instead of some of those crappy movie suits? Like some of the movie suits we're gonna get to later suck. And like, why not the original noir suit? Why not? I wish that they had the original noir suit as well, because this one, like, I like it well enough, but I don't think it should have come at the cost of the original noir suit. And I would have liked it if they had done a normal noir suit with the hat and trench coat, not a Spider-Verse one. But I think it's like a 6. It's fine. It's a decent version of it. He's got the black and white. There's the white shading on him. The kind of the screen tone kind of shading on him. I don't mind it. It's pretty decent. But I'm just a little disappointed that this came at the cost of the original noir suit, and also that we didn't get a regular noir suit with hat and trench coat. It's a little disappointing to me. So I think it's still a decent costume. That's a 6. Well, we rated this one already, it blows. Right, Spider-Punk. So Spider-Punk, pretty good costume. We already rated this one from the previous game. So now we just got to talk about the color variations. This is not bad color variations. So there's this one, which is the black and this very dull red. I don't hate this. Yeah, the black and the dull red. It's a little weird to me. I don't know why they did this and maybe not something else. And then this one afterwards is the same colors but just in different places. If you notice, because look, it's got this white is there, this red is there, the black is there, this and then the silver is obviously the same, and all these pieces. But yeah, it's the same colors just in different places. There's the whole, like, these two costumes are the same colors but just in different places, which is a little bit of a shame. And then the last one is just a kind of a normal red and black one. There's nothing too crazy about this. None of these are like really wild in one direction or another. Like, I don't feel much one way or another about these color variations. They're okay. They're fine. Is it just me, or do Peter's proportions look a little bit more doughy in this game? Like, a lot of his kind of core body is very, like, thick. He's got a very thick body in this one. He does seem a little bit more muscular in this game, and again, as I say, he's got a bit more of a kind of like a bit of a doughier frame. Not even that, like, he's not muscular, but that he's just kind of a little thicker. Like, it's all, like, a chunkier is his kind of core body. Because this pose here in particular, where he's got his arm like this, you can kind of see it's almost like a straight line going down from his whole body. He's got a bit of a chunkier frame. I feel like if there's one costume where they had free range to do some weird color variations, this was the one, right? Because, like, you'd think punk, you'd go for some, like, crazy colors on a punk one. And again, I think this is the one where they had the free range to do some, like, wild colors. But they just went for some very kind of basic ones. Like, 2 of these color palettes are almost identical, but just in different places. And the last one is just kind of normal red and black. It's actually, is it the same as the... Yeah, it's the same tone as the Advanced 2.0. Oh, a bit sniffly. Yeah, this one's kind of, I don't know, like a 5 out of 10 on color variations. Pretty basic, nothing crazy about them. I don't feel that strongly about them. They're kind of meh. What do we got now? Right, we got a new suit. We got the Secret Wars Civil War suit. I've never seen this one before. I'm assuming this is from like some semi-recent comics, I guess. But I'm completely unfamiliar with this one, so yeah, it's a weird one, all in all. Whenever I first saw this, because I did see some leaks before the game came out, so I wasn't surprised whenever I saw some of these costumes. And this was one of the ones which I saw on a leak, and when I saw it, I thought it was the one of, like, at a glance, I thought it was Spider-Man with the Doc Ock arms. the Spider-Man costume where he'd just taken the Doc Ock arms, like the one in the 90s show at the very end, where there's the multiple different Spider-Men, and one of them has the Doc Ock arms. I thought that was what this was. But no, it's not. It's like a weird militaristic Spider-Man, where he's not got a spider symbol. How do I feel about this? I'm trying to collect my feelings about... Yeah, I don't know how to feel, really, with this one. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this. I don't dislike it, but I don't particularly like it either. It's well modeled. It's got some nice textures going on it. I just kind of... Yeah, it's not really my thing. Military Spider-Man is never a thing that I really cared to think of as a costume. 6 feels alright as a costume, because well modeled. It's a decently different looking one. I mean, it stands out from the rest of the roster, but like, this is in here, but no Spider-Man Unlimited, no like negative zone Spider-Man, and not the negative skin from the previous game, negative zone Spider-Man, which looked different. No, like, none of the Identity Crisis suits. I mean, most of those look bad, but they're varied anyways. None of like any of the different like types of black suit. There's only a couple of different black suit costumes in this game, which you'd think there'd be a ton of, because this is the black suit game. Yeah, it's like a 6. It's okay. I just don't really care for it in any way. It doesn't do anything for me. Yeah, I don't know. It's a 6. I don't really care for it in any way, really. It's got the multi-textures. It's got some of these things that I do like, but just no. Alright, let's have a look at the color variations. So, right, so we've got the white one. It's the kind of white one. It's got the camo on it, which is okay. It's like Arctic camo Spider-Man. If you're going for the military thing, fine, sure, whatever. Then you got kind of jungle camo sort of thing. Maybe like a deserty sort of camo. It's got the bits of white in it, which you wouldn't normally see in jungle camo. Woodland camo, maybe, is what this would be. Just kind of generic military camo thing going on, I guess. I don't know, there's nothing kind of crazy about this one. What is this? What is this? Whatever the hell this is. The pink and blue-green one. More of the random... Why is it that just some of these costumes randomly have like crazy neon colors on them for their color variations? It feels like some of them just really randomly have them. Just kind of out of nowhere. That just... Otherwise, they would be a kind of a normal-ish costume. Like these three, the first 3 colors here, pretty normal. Then there's this one. This one's just weird as hell. I don't know what the hell this is about. The star pattern on the trousers is weird. It's just really weird. This doesn't fit with the military tone at all. Like, all 3 of these are like sort of militaristic. I mean, the first one obviously isn't, because it's still got the Spider-Man colors. But these 2... color variations, they kind of fit with the military tone of where it's like, okay, you're doing the military Spider-Man, you give him Arctic camo, you give him like a woodland camo, and you maybe give him a desert camo as the third one. But I guess they were like, maybe not, we'll just do whatever this is. But yeah, we'll just do whatever this is at the end. Color variations, I think, are a 5. Even though these are like fine, they don't do anything for me. And this one's just weird. Like, but it's not offensively weird to me. I just kind of don't care about it, really. It's weird in a way that just... It's so weird that I just come back around to not really caring about it. Which is weird, I suppose. But yeah, it just doesn't do anything for me in any way at all. Really weird. Really weird costume. Okay, now we get the Iron Spider. The Iron Spider, which I don't really like. I don't really like their version of it either. I don't much care for the way that they modeled it to be really shiny and armory. I kind of prefer whenever it's more of a matte finish. But yeah, I've already talked about the Iron Spider. I've already talked about it in the previous Spider-Man. But yeah. So now we're going to talk about these color variations. So we've got multiple iterations of Power Ranger for this. So we've got the White Ranger, the Blue Ranger, and the Black Ranger. And something worth noting is that this one I don't really like at all. It's even shinier than the first one, it looks like, because of the gold. And the eyes get kind of lost. And then there's this one, which is the blue, which is kind of weird. And then this got the black crotch area, but the rest of it is blue. But something worth noting about the final one here, the black one, is that it's got a different texture on it. It's not as shiny. Nowhere near as shiny, as a matter of fact. It's got a matte finish, which is what I liked, which is what I would have preferred on the whole thing, to be honest. I would have preferred they all had this kind of matte finish, and then just the gold parts were shiny. That would have been nice. But yeah, they just did it for the black one for some reason. And I much prefer it on the black one, because it's not as intrusive as it is on these three of the shininess. Like, look at that, the light hitting that is like blinding. Spider-Man intends to blind all his criminal enemies with all the loudness of these costumes, and then just, you know, the shininess of them as a whole. But then this last one with the matte finish, I actually quite like this, actually, even though I don't much care for the Iron Spider as a whole. I don't mind this one. It's got a matte finish on it. It's pretty decent. Yeah, I think the color variations here are still like maybe a 6. I don't mind them. I think they're all right. They kind of, again, they lean into the Power Rangeriness of it, which I don't mind, actually. I think it's okay. But yeah, it's a 6 on this color variation. So now what do we got? Now we got the webbed black suit. It's just a different color for the normal webbed suit, the normal Raimi suit. I think it's okay. Fine. Is there a point in rating this? Because I mean, it's the same as the other suit. It's just black. I don't feel any better or worse about it than the other suit. So I think maybe let's just say it's the same rating that I gave the webbed suit, which I'm pretty sure was like a 7. So I think they're both still a 7, and then this is the other websuit again, which is the same rating as it was before. No different. I don't really like this. Same rating as it was before. Now we've got this one. I don't even know what the hell this is supposed to be. So this is the new blue suit. I don't know what the hell this is. It looks kind of like one of the MCU suits. Like, look at this. It looks like really similar to this one, and it comes right after it. So it's quite strange. It looks really similar to the Stark suit, or the upgraded classic suit is what they call it here. I don't know what's called that. But yeah, the new blue suit. It's even got some of the same like texture pieces here, with the kind of like the little lines that are there for no reason. But this is the default color, as this black and blue one, which I kind of don't. Is this like supposed to be Fantastic Four or something? Is that why it's black and blue? Is that why it's this color scheme? Is that why it's smooth? There's no webs on it at all, which looks really, really strange. Because it's like quite smooth. Like, there's no like real like hard details on it or anything. It looks very smooth. This one's weird. This one's really weird. I don't know what it's from. It's got this weird symbol on it, which looks like a Fantastic Four logo, but it is a spider symbol, but looks really similar to the spider symbol that he has in the new movies. So what the hell is this supposed to be? I just don't know what the hell it is. That's the big question that I have with the new blue suit. Hold on, let me look it up. Okay, I looked it up. It is a Fantastic Four suit. Yeah, there's no way this wasn't a Fantastic Four suit. This had to have been a Fantastic Four suit. That's the only way that this would make sense. But still, why is this here and not Bagman? There's no Bagman in this game. Bagman looked good in the other game. Why this and no Bagman? Why this? Why this? And the color variations are fine. It's the whole thing is overall a 5. The color variations are kind of there. Like this costume, I mean, this is just a normal Spider-Man color scheme, but it looks weirdly similar to the movies. It's a 5. It's a 5. I don't just just don't care. Oh, it sucks. No, it doesn't suck. It's fine. It's the same rating that I had before. This sucks. This sucks so bad. This is the worst suit from any of the movies at all. I hate it. Okay. 10 out of 10. First things first, this is a 10 out of 10. Now let me just explain why. This is the best black suit design. He's got the big eyes. I don't really like how the eyes express on any of the black suits in this game, actually. It looks kind of weird, a lot of them. But it's a normal black suit. It just looks the way that it should. It just looks the way that it should. It's a simple black suit. It's kind of shiny, which the black suit is always kind of shiny, but I'm fine with that. You got the normal black tone. You got the purpley tone, like from the Ultimates. You got this anti-venom tone with the white and black. That's kind of cool. This one, it's like okay. And then you've got the one that makes it a 10 out of 10. With the blue and red rim light from the 90s show. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. The blue and red rim light that it has on Venom in the 90s show. Real cool. This as a whole is like a 10 out of 10. It's just simple and it works. This is how the black suit should look. This is how it should look. It's like this. And all these colors are pretty good as well. These are all decent color variations. And again, this is one of those weird times where they did a color variation, which isn't really a color variation, like it's still the same black as the core one, but it's got a weird, like, different idea on it with the rim lights. And it's like, why didn't they do more of this? If they're going to do this type of stuff at all, why not do more of it to make this more of this stuff look interesting? Like, why have it be just so kind of meh? Like a lot of the color variations, the only way I can describe them is just milquetoast. They're just quite dull and boring. They don't really do anything for me in any way. They just kind of exist. And I'm like, why are they not interesting? Why are they not interesting? Give me more good color variations. This is what you should be doing. This is what you should be doing. Is this type of thing. This is a 10 out of 10, a perfect 10. This is it. I don't normally give 10s, but this is the one. This is the one that gets it. This is the one that deserves a 10. Very, very, very good. I like this one a lot. I do not like this one even remotely. That was the same. This is the same rating I gave it before. No different. Oh, this one is new actually. The new red and blue from the end of the new movie. It's okay. I don't know what more to say about it. I don't. Like, it's still got the kind of indented webs. Well, they're not really indented. They're printed on, but they're not like... I prefer one of the webs poke out. That's what I want, is I want the webs to poke out on a movie suit. I want them to poke out a little bit so that it doesn't just look like a kind of a texture. And like here, they aren't actually indented, which I don't mind. I prefer that they're not indented at the very least. But they don't look great. Like, it's not even that they don't look great, it's just that they're just a print, which doesn't look amazing to me. This spider, he's a little weird. Is it disconnected? I think it is. I think the legs are disconnected from the core piece, which I don't like. The eyes are the same as they normally are, I think. Where's a good example? Yeah, they are the same as they were before, more or less. I don't love this like weird shiny texture on his legs. I don't know. It's like a 7. It's like a 7. It's okay. This like probably should have been how he looked from the start, but it's not amazing in any way. I would have preferred the like outward webs that like poked out a little bit, so that it wasn't just like a print. I don't know. Maybe. I think it's okay. It's a 7. It's fine. This one blows. It's the same as I rated it before. Right, now we've got the life story suit, which is okay, I guess. It's fine. He wears multiple costumes in Life Story, so it's weird that they selected the one from whenever he's an old man. His like weird spacesuit costume. I think it's like a 5. He obviously looks quite doughy in it because he's supposed to be an old man, but it's fine. It's a 5. I don't feel particularly strongly in any way about it. It's okay. It's fine. Doesn't do much for me, really. I don't love it. It's okay. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. I don't love it, but it's okay. All in all. Color variations. These are questionable. So there's this one, which is just white and black with the red trim. It's the opposite. It's the same colors from before, but reorganized. And this one's the same thing again. It's the black, white, and red, but it's reorganized to be different, and it's kind of just not very good. And then this one. This is like what, convict look? I guess the orange suit. It's supposed to look more like a spacesuit. I'm assuming, right, for it to be orange, but. These color variations are like a 4, I think. Even though the costume itself is a 5. These color variations are like a 4. They're not great. They don't enhance the suit. And they don't really do anything to make the suit look any better or halfway decent at all, actually. A lot of this one at the end here actually looks worse than the kind of default. All of them look worse than default. But yeah, this is not a good suit. This is not a good looking suit to me. It's a 5. 5. Generic, kind of dull, flat suit. 5. And the color variations are very bad. So 4, yeah, on those. So now we got the last hunt suit, which is another new suit for the game. There's a lot of ones in this game which are new ones. And I don't much care for them. So this, I think you get this for doing all like the like outposts stuff. So it's a Craven suit. And yeah, it's fine. He's got angry eyes. He's got angry eyes, but they're green for some reason. On all versions, they're green on the inside, which I don't much care for. The fur looks okay. The kind of body piece and all this stuff. It's got a sort of Craven-y vibe to it, I guess, with the fur, but I just don't care for it in any way. I just don't actually care for it even remotely in any way. Like I feel kind of nothing looking at it. That's the point I'm at with it, is it doesn't elicit any sort of feeling out of me, so I'm saying it's a 5. And same with all the color variations. None of the color variations are like particularly bad. They're just not particularly good. And yeah, they don't elicit any sort of strong reaction out of me in any way. Yeah. No, yeah, like this one, the blue and mostly black one, that one's meh. The one which is grey and the white is meh. And then this green and tan one is like also like a meh. Yeah, this is really aggressively uninteresting, this one, like a 5 overall. Yeah, not very good. I don't like that one at all. Ugh. Right, so now we got another Power Ranger suit. So now we got the Saving Lives suit, which is the one you get for doing the Wraith mission, which is obviously now a suit based off of Wraith's design. And I don't like it very much at all. It does not translate to Spider-Man. Oh god, I'm yawning a lot. It does not translate to Spider-Man very well at all. This is like a 3, I think. It just looks really rough and goofy. It just doesn't look right at all, really. Like the eyes are like really far apart, and then this mouthpiece just looks kind of weird. And then obviously all the color variations are just Power Ranger looks. They're kind of just the same thing, but with a different color. Like there's not really anything interesting about them. There's the generic purple one, and then there's the white one, and there's the red one, and there's the green one, and they're kind of all similar tones, but just not particularly interesting. They've all got the same gold. Gold is really what I think of when I think of Spider-Man. I also talked about that last time, but yeah, I think it's an overall 3. I don't think any of these color variations are bad enough to be worse than the default costume, to make the costume look worse. I don't think they're not. They certainly don't make it look better. So yeah, geez, with 3, yeah, really don't much care for that. Okay, so that's Peter's costume's done. Now we're on to Miles. So now we have the upgraded suit, which is somewhat different apparently from the Miles' normal suit. It really doesn't look much different, but You know what? I actually do remember why this is better. It is so. If you remember correctly, whenever I did the Miles Morales costumes last time, I complained a little bit that that Miles's classic suit is slightly too light in tone. Like the black on the core piece, I said should be darker, and here, guess what? It's darker. So they probably had a similar idea of where maybe it shouldn't all be the same uniform black. Maybe some of it should be darker. Maybe the core body piece should be darker. That's what they've done. They made it a little darker, and the kind of the underlying suit is a little. Well, it's still dark, but it's a kind of shinier black now. So it kind of stands out in that sense. And then you've got this kind of harder, more matte kind of finish on the top piece. So I would say that that's a 9. I like that a lot, actually. I like that quite a bit. I like the kind of improvements that they've made in that sense. I like the kind of their default costumes in this game quite a bit. I like the default costumes quite a bit. So now we've got some questionable color variations again. So we've got this one, which I don't mind. It's a color variation to make it look more like Peter's colors. I don't mind that. But the white, though, maybe a little much. Maybe I wouldn't have gone with the white, especially the white symbol. I wouldn't have gone with that. It does just make it look a little bit more busy, doesn't it? With a lot of these colors. There's maybe one too many colors going on here. The white I would maybe replace it with a black. Keep that black, keep this black. Yeah, I would maybe replace the white with a black, and that would look a little better to me. This one, also, the blue. The blues, I don't really care for this in any way. This just doesn't fit. Doesn't fit this costume, definitely, but definitely doesn't fit at all, I would say. And then this really sharp white and red. I don't dislike it that much, but I don't love it. So for a 9 out of 10 costume, these are like some pretty hard 5 out of 10 colors. They're all very different. Granted, they are all very different, but they're just not very interesting in any way. Yeah, they're not very interesting. Yeah, they're all very different, but none of them are really eye-catching. None of them do really enhance the costume. They just accentuate certain weird features, like this kind of hip piece here that's really emphasized on the blue one, or the kind of weird light blue lines that are now all over his legs in this version. Or the kind of just weirdness of this full white one. Yeah, that's some hard 5 out of 10 colors. Actually, no, 4 out of 10 colors for a 9 out of 10 costume. Yeah, it's not great costume. Or not great colors. Now we got the family business suit. I don't know if this is from anything. It's okay. I don't like spider armors really at all. And this one's kind of a spider armor. So, I'd say maybe a 6 on the default costume. The black and gold, again, I don't much care for black and gold, but black is Miles's color. It's his core body color, so they're not going too far from it. The gold I would definitely not be going for, though. Just, yeah, not really my thing, this one, really at all. So the 6, yeah, it's probably a 6. To be honest with you, I thought that whenever I first saw this one in leaks, I thought this was the Prowler costume, but it's not, because the Prowler costume is a later costume. Overall, it's kind of meh. 6. Colors, I'd say, are also... no, the color's like a 4. Green, bad green. There's a Prowler color, so that's part of the thing that made it even more confusing, because it looked pretty... this costume looks kind of similar to the Prowler costume, but it's also got a Prowler color on it, which makes it even more confusing. And then there's this one, which looks really bad, with these red boots and gloves. Just, no, I hate this. Yeah, that's 4 out of 10 colors on this one. They're not great. I don't like the colors in this very much at all. But the default costume is like a 6. It's fine. I don't much care for spider armor. Don't much care for superhero armor all that much. And we got the classic suit, which again I kind of like. It's not appreciably different than the other one, but you can see the kind of color difference a little bit. Like the core body piece here is the kind of grayish color. I mean, we already covered this suit in the previous game, so don't need to go into much detail, but you can see the differences here, that a lot of these kind of pieces around here are very dark for some reason. So now it's funny. I don't know why they did this time, of where they, with these color variations, some of these are pretty bad, like these two I don't like at all, but this one is interesting to me because in this one you've got this, which is supposed to look more like Peter's colors, but here you've got this, which is now just red and black. I don't know why they didn't, like, it's so similar to the previous one that it almost doesn't bear mentioning, but like the fact that it's got the kind of hot pinky red, like the Peter colors, like for the Advanced Suit 2.0, and then it's pretty much the same black as here, but obviously there's now the black on the trims and the symbol. But yeah, I'm kind of like, why didn't you just make this? Why didn't you make the body piece blue and then keep these bits black, and that way this would now be different to the other one? I don't know. There's this purple and just full grey. Like this is all the same grey pretty much on this costume. You've got this purple on it, which doesn't really do much for me at all. And there's this one, which is just really nasty blue, and white, which doesn't really come together very well, in my opinion. So I'd say these are some 4 out of 10 colors again. So yeah, some 4s on these colors. Pretty hard 4 on that. Rough colors. Not great. And we got the tracksuit, which I covered in the previous game. A lot of Miles' suits are from his game, or from his own game. Like there's a few new ones, but largely his suits are better. Largely his suits are better than Peter's, because the suits in his game were kind of better, in my opinion. Because a lot of the suits in the first game weren't very good. They were really questionable choices they added, and it's the same problem here. Most of Peter's suits are movie suits. They're mostly movie suits, and a lot of them just aren't very good. I don't like them very much. I don't like the movie suits all that much. They're all just red and blues. Like, there's nothing super interesting about them. But yeah, the tracksuit. So I already covered this one. I don't remember what rating I gave it, but I remember liking it well enough. So now let's have a look at some of these colors. So again, another one, which is just the Peter colors. So it seems like a thing, much like how I mentioned with Peter's colors. There should be a black suit variation for all of his. I think there should be a black suit variation for all of his costumes, pretty much. But with this, it feels like on almost all of Miles' suits there is a Peter color variation with the red, blue, and black, which is interesting to note. So this one I don't mind. I don't hate this. This one I actually quite like. I like the version of it which is just full black and red. I like this a lot more. I like this more than the default, this color. And I think this one makes his costume look a lot better rather than the white. I don't love the white. I think it looked okay in his own game, but I don't love it here. Well, it's not that I don't love it here. It's that I would prefer the black. I prefer the black to the white as a whole on this costume. So I like those two well enough. I think this one looks okay, even though I don't much care for the Peter colors on Miles' suits. I would prefer they just kind of gave it something else. And then there's this one, which is just the really bright kind of bluey color, and the pink. This is not very good. I don't like this. It's a little just eye burning. It's a little kind of eye burning. This one, I don't much care for it. These two are a little better. This one I do actually really like. This one I don't like very much, but this one's okay. So I think these are like a 7.5. Let's say 7.5 out of 10 on the colors for the tracksuit. So this one's pretty decent. Overall, not bad on these colors. We've got the Brooklyn 2099 suit. This is a new suit. I don't think this was in the previous game. What's weird is that there is also a 2099 Miles suit. So he's got two 2099 suits. But we already covered the 2099 Miles suit. I think there's colors for that one, so we'll have to go through. But yeah, I mean, it's got lights on it. I don't love when these costumes have lights. I don't love this. The kind of the pinky red I don't much love here. And I don't really like the texture on his trousers. They look like boxing shorts with the kind of texture that they have on them, of that kind of like shiny texture. But they're baggy up here, but they're not like tucked into his shoes. They don't like to be anyways. Are they tucked into his shoes? I can't tell. But they're baggy up here, but the bagginess just kind of stops at the knee for some reason, and then just tapers in. Is that a thing? I don't know. I'm not very clothes versed, but yeah, that's a little weird as a choice. As choices go, that one's kind of strange. Wouldn't necessarily been my choice to do that. My gut feeling on this one is a 6. Because it's better than average, but I also don't really care for it anyway. It's got like the multiple eyes thing, like there's about 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 8 eyes. So it's got the spider eyes, which I'm like, okay, yeah, they've done the little thing there, but the spider on his chest is like, it's quite hard to tell that it's a spider. I don't know if that's the right way of saying it, but like, there's like a little beetle here, but then there's just lines coming out of it that don't necessarily look like spider legs, if you get my meaning. It's kind of messy looking. I don't know if that's coming across. I don't know if I'm coming across quite right here, but yeah, it's fine. My immediate feeling is like a 6. I don't care for it really. I don't love it, but it's a little better than average. As color variations go, these are pretty awful. The blue one is fine. It's mostly the same colors, but with a darker black. And then the red is replaced with blue. And then there's these two, which are just incrementally brighter than one another. So there's this one, which is like this really weird kind of bluey silver with this nasty green spider, which doesn't glow. Doesn't look like it glows. Whereas these look like they glow on these two. This green one does not appear to glow, and it looks kind of weird and nasty. I don't like that one very much at all. Then the orange one, again, they keep picking really gross colors for a lot of these. God, I'm tired. But yeah, this like kind of nasty, kind of whitey, silvery, kind of greeny color. Gross. Like almost like a slightly green-grey tinge, if you can see what I mean. And the orange just really doesn't fit this at all. Yeah, the orange just really does not fit even remotely, I would say. That is that's like a 3 on these colors. I do not like these colors at all. No, those are bad colors. Don't like that. Don't like that very much, even remotely. Alright, now here's the thing that makes the whole purpose of the color variations work. It feels like this was the reason why they were added to the game, of where this suit in particular was the one that... Oh, my. Oh, I'm so tired. It feels like this suit in particular, because I mean, I obviously rated this one already in the previous game, but obviously didn't have color variations, meaning it didn't have this color, which is just the colors of this very similar costume in Spider-Verse. And these two are kind of whatever, they're mostly the same thing. He's got a blue hoodie here and a red jacket, and then he's got a red hoodie here and a black jacket. It's kind of the same thing. Really not considerably different in any way across these. But this is the one right here. This is like, come on. That's the Spider-Verse jacket thing. It's what you want in terms of the visual design of this costume. That's what you want. But yeah, I think this one's pretty good. In terms of its color variation. Even though they're all very similar, they all give you the same thing you want, really, don't you? You want the kind of the sort of Spider-Verse-y look. That's what you want to see. And this one's pretty good. I like it well enough. It's like an 8 on the color variations. It does what it says on the tin. It gives you what you want. Does what it says on the tin. I like it well enough. It's like an 8. 8 on the color variations. Pretty good. They do what they need to do. They do what you want them to do. That's all you need. Now you got the Miles life story. So this is a new one. This is one of the few new Miles ones. There aren't actually many new Miles ones, I think. It's fine. I mean, this is also a spacesuit. So, I mean, it's kind of got the same thing going on, but he looks considerably less doughy because he's not supposed to be. Old. He is supposed to be young. It's fine. I mean, like, I don't know what more to say. It's fine. It's like a 5. It's just like I don't really care for the life story suits at all, but they're here if you want them. I don't think anyone else really cares for them either, to be honest. But yeah, they're here if you want them. This is fine. It's yeah, it's there. It's like a 5. I don't much love it. It's got pretty generic kind of normal like puffy, or not like puffy, but like a loose kind of shirt sort of jacket thing cover. The texture on it, and then the kind of like slightly more shiny, glossy, form-fitting leg things or leggings sort of texture on it. This I didn't notice. There's like a slight web pattern on his leg here. I didn't notice that before. How do I feel about this? I don't... Yeah, I mean, it's like a 5 for the suit itself. The color variations, I mean, there's this one here which has the white and the grey. It's fine. Still the same mask. Actually, no, the mask now has the black eyes on it. Then there's this one which is the more typical Miles colors, with the black and red as opposed to red and black. So it's fine. I mean, yeah, it's fine. I mean, doesn't really do much for me. Then there's the black and gold, which, I mean, like, who wants black and gold? I don't much care for black and gold on Spider-Man. It's not really a thing that I want. I don't want black and gold. I don't want gold. Gold is not Spider-Man to me. I think this is like a 5 across the board. I think these colors are also 5. I don't think they're really anything to write home about particularly. They're not crazy. They're not super interesting. They're kind of just there in that sense. Yeah. I don't love them. They're fine. It's fine. It's fine. It doesn't really do anything for me, but I don't dislike it. Then I got the Miles Morales 2099 suit. The second of Miles' 2099 suits for some reason. So I already ranked the base suit in the previous video. So now we've got his color schemes, which have much fewer colors going on, sort of. Yeah, they do have fewer colors going on. They because the last time I complained that he got this weird like toothpaste thing going on, this kind of Pepsi thing going on with his color scheme, with the white in there as well. The white I don't think needs to be there at all. I think the white just kind of adds, as I say, this like Pepsi toothpaste thing going on. But on all of these suits, they've kind of merged them together, apart from the last one. The last one has the white too. But it's only, actually no, it's got the white and the gold, so it's not as bad. This one, I think they're all kind of the same sort of thing, really, aren't they? They all replace the dark blue with a God almighty, I cannot stop yawning. They all replace the dark blue with a different color. Like here, obviously this is grey. It's a dark grey, and then you've got really bright, like purpley pink with the neon blue. Is this supposed to be the same as the color scheme? I think this is supposed to be a similar color scheme to the regular, the Peter 2099 one. I think it's supposed to be a similar color scheme because there was that one which had the really bright purple body and then the really neon blue pieces on it. I think that's what this is supposed to be like. So that's something, I guess. I don't really like it here either. Then there's this one which is the white and the black and the red, and there's also some random bits of like sort of dark blue randomly thrown in there. Bit of a weird color scheme all in all. Then there's this one which is the black and the gold again. There's none of them changed the color of the smoke coming off his eyes. It's all blue. All of them. It's all the same blue. Which I don't think is necessary. I don't think it needs to be there. I think I don't really particularly love this costume in the first place, but color variations. What am I giving these color variations? I think I'm giving these color variations like a 5. They don't offend me in any way, but I don't love them. Don't love them really at all. Don't much like them either, really. So, yeah. Like a 5 in the color variations. Alright, what do we got next? Okay, now that we've got light, we also have the advanced tech suit, which was the one post-game costume that they added for Miles Morales, which I didn't like then. So what do we feel about it now? Still don't like it, but yeah, it's kind of a generic one. It's a bit of a dud. All in all, really doesn't feel all that crazy to me. It's just a kind of generic sort of spider armory costume. The pseudo spider armor, the worst version of spider armor. So, yeah, I already ranked. My brain just stopped working there for a second. I already ranked the default suit. So now it's just the color variations. So what do we got? We got a blue one, a white one, and a red one. I mean, take your pick of the litter. What do we like? Nothing particularly interesting about them. This blue one still has the red webs though, and that does not really gel. The white one still has it as well, and the red one still has red webs as well, meaning everything's just kind of a mishmash of nonsense. This red one's really bad. That one's definitely bad. I don't know why you'd want that. That just doesn't look very good. The white one is kind of really aggressive and quite generic. And the blue one is also not particularly interesting. I don't even know why they bothered to add color variations to this. I don't know why they bothered to add this costume to the game. Why not add a better one? Like, why not find a better costume than this? This is not a very good one. This is a really boring and generic costume. I don't know. Don't much care for this. This is like 4. No, it's a 3 on these color variations. That's a 3 for multiple reasons, because these color variations are really boring and generic, and also, why did they add this costume to the game? Why not add something better? This is a really boring one. This one wasn't very good in the previous game either. Like, why bother with this? Why would you use this? Why would anyone want this? I don't know. I don't like this. 3. Right, now we got the Shadow Spider. So this is the companion costume to the Arachnite. I think this one looks a lot better. I do think this one looks a lot better than that one. It doesn't have the same kind of crappiness to it. I mean to say that it doesn't have the same kind of like superhero TV show color scheme to it. Notice that a lot of Miles' suits don't have the same level. More of Miles' suits tend to have color schemes, and none of them are quite as bad as Peter's for the most part. Like, there's a lot of ones which have gold on them, like this one, which I don't like. None of them have weird Ronald McDonald color schemes like the Arachnite, and none of them have that horrid mustard Spider-Man like the first costume did for some reason. Yeah. Interesting, that. So, right, let's see what do we think about the actual costume. So it's got this kind of quilted leather look on it, which does still have a degree of kind of like movie costumey sort of quality to it, which I don't love, like the kind of TV kind of quality to it to a degree. The cape, I think, looks a little better. It's got a better texture to it. It kind of folds in a better looking way, but it flares out at the back, which I don't love. It flares out at the back, which looks a little kind of cheap. And it sort of, yeah, kind of has a very weird rigidity to it, where it just kind of sticks there quite stiffly, which I don't love. The padding, the kind of like, it's still very Batman-y. I think that's probably the intention. I don't know where this comes from. Probably comes from something. But yeah, I mean, it's got the same kind of color scheme. The mask is okay. It's got a sort of like a Mortal Kombat mask to it. Mask is okay. Largely, I think this is like a 7. It's a little better than the Peter one. I think the Peter one I gave like a 6. This one's like a 7. It's fine. It's a little better than the Peter one. It's decent enough, but it doesn't blow me away in any way. It doesn't really do much for me. I don't mind it, though. Yeah, it's like a 7 as a costume as a whole. the color variations. None of these are that bad, really. The white and gold, I don't love this. It's fine, though. It doesn't really blow me away, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. And then the white and blue even isn't that bad because they've used a bit of a dull blue, so it doesn't. It's not like super neon-y or like it doesn't like blind you in any way. It's fine. And then this one I don't mind actually with the red inside of the cape. The inside of the cape is fully red and it's got all the white trims on it. And then the more of the red on it. Yeah, I don't mind this one that much. The mask is still mostly the same and the black is a little darker, I think. Yeah, I think some of the black is a little darker and it's got the white trims on it instead of red. I don't mind that color, but most of them are kind of meh. So I think I'm gonna give this like a 5 on the colors. The colors are largely kind of meh. I don't much care for them really at all. Just kind of fine. They don't really do much for me in any way. Yeah, there are 5. Yeah. Now we got Miles Morales 2020, which is the Daft Punk one from the previous game. Was in the previous game. Yeah, it was in the previous game. So, I mean, I'm only going to be rating the colors on this, and yeah, largely the colors are kind of fine. I don't much mind them. Like, this one is kind of not great. I don't love these colors, really. On this one, it's just that the jacket is now primarily red. That's the thing. Instead of it being primarily black, the jacket is now primarily red. And a lot of the kind of accents are now blue. Same with the like the lights on them are all a little bit more blue now. And this one's kind of the same thing. It's the same colors as the core jacket or as the core costume, but now it's just purple instead of red. Kind of like with the classic suit. These are actually are they the same? So this one's here, then no, they are. They are the exact same colors as the classic suit, as Miles' classic suit. They are the exact same lineup of costume colors. That's funny. That is actually quite funny. I don't know if they realized that they were doing that. I hope they did. I really hope they realized that, because if they didn't, that's kind of embarrassing. They've just done the exact same set of 3 extra colors, and yeah, the exact same 3 set. Jesus, the exact same 3 colors in the classic set as in the 2020 set. So that's kind of funny. I don't mind them as a whole. I think I actually prefer. I don't mind the white and the blue here, though. This one actually looks okay. I think it fits this suit a little better because this suit is already kind of gaudy, so it kind of fits. It's gaudy but cool. It works in a degree. The purple kind of don't care for because it's not really that different. It's just they've changed one color. The rest of it's mostly the same. Yeah. No, this is it's okay. These are like a 7, I think 7 on the colors. Okay, don't blow me away, but they're not like offensive. Now we got the Prowler one again. So it's we've already covered this one in the previous game. So what do we got now in terms of our colors? So we've got one which is got no purple, which is all grey and green, and a little bit more green at the crotch instead of the lighter purple. Got one which has a brighter purple but far more green. Which actually only obscures the spider symbol, which is maybe not what you want to do. And then there's one which has sort of Miles' colors. It's got a red spider, but grey on the rest of it. It's mostly grey. These colors are really uninspired. I feel like it feels like they couldn't figure out what to do with these colors. Granted, I don't know what I would do with these colors. I probably wouldn't include this suit, to be perfectly honest, because it was an okay suit for the previous game, but it's not really got much staying power to me. It's not like a suit that I would be clamoring to use again. It's kind of cool, but it's got a time and a place, and I don't think this is it really. I don't think it fits this game quite as well. Yeah, it's got like 5. call it a 5 on these colors. They're a bit uninspired, but they don't offend, really. It's like a 5. Yeah, they're fine. They're fine. So now we got the bodega costume, which, again, this had to come back. It had to. There's no way they weren't going to bring it back. Let me muse for a moment. I'm losing my voice a little bit. I've been talking for like an hour and a half straight. So the bodega cat costume. Yeah, we're only rating the colors here because obviously already did the previous the core suit in the previous game. The blue on this is okay. I've noticed, yeah, the mask is the exact same on all these, and the undersuit is pretty much the exact same on all these. So the only thing that changes is the hoodie. The cat actually changes a little bit, not the color of the cat itself, but on these last two, the cat has a black mask with red eyes. His shoes change a little bit. That one pair of shoes that he had in his own game. He gets a different pair of shoes later on, but that's a whole other story. Yeah, the blues on this I don't love. The greens on this I don't love. Two of these suits are pretty much exactly the same. There's the one different color, which there's now 2 tones of it, which I don't care for. The black, I mean, this is, again, it's just Miles's colors. He's got the same color shoes even, so it's like, it's a very minor change. These colors are like a 5. Like the changes of the cat is okay. I think that's neat, at least, that they changed the cat's mask. But it's like a 5. These colors are really kind of, again, they're kind of uninspired. They're a 5, maybe even a 4. They're, I think, a little bit even less inspired than the. No, they're not less inspired than the Prowler ones. No, it's a 5. It's a 5. It's a 5, I'd say. Right. What do we got next? Now we've got the Forever suit. So this, I think this comes from a What If, because Miles has a few What If costumes, which are, yeah, him as various different Marvel characters. What if Miles Morales was blank? Because I guess that's the quality of What Ifs we're doing now, is just what if this character was this character, not like an interesting narrative what if this character did this thing, what if this character didn't do this thing, because that's what ifs used to be. Anyways, yeah, so as it stands, it's a fine costume. I think they've done some interesting texture work, which kind of gets across the Black Panther vibe. Yeah, which kind of gets across some of the textures here, which have the kind of sort of thing that you'd get in a Black Panther costume. There's the foot claws, the knuckles come into like a claw shape. This is okay as it stands. Don't know why there's these kind of random little chunks of red around his arm here. That's maybe not what I would go for. Yeah, it looks like a Black Panther costume. Now, whether or not I would say it has much Spider-Man-iness going on, it's got these kind of Spider-Man-y eyes and a spider symbol on the chest, but not much of what I would consider a Spider-Man costume. It's fine. It's like a 6. Like a 6, I would say. It doesn't do a huge amount for me, but it's not offensive. It's not offensive, so it's fine. It's like a 6. Color variations, pretty much all identical. I think they're all a 6 as well, because this one's just all black. This one's just gold instead of red. This one's just purple instead of red. They're all the same thing, really. It's just a 6. 6 overall for everything. Nothing too crazy about it. It's all 6. It's all a 6. Now what do we got? Ugh. Homemade suit. Hey, this one blows. Terrible. I hate this suit. Why did they bring it back? Why did they waste a slot on this? So many of Miles' slots feel like they're wasted on crap. On crap suits like this and the what was the other one called? Advanced Materials? Was that what it was called? Something like that. That other one, which kind of sucked. This one sucks as well. We're only rating the color variations because this was also in his game. So, full black with just the red. No. Random blue now. No. Black and blue. No. This is a 2. overall. This is a 2 on these colors. They suck. Swiftly moving along. Into the Spider-Verse suit. This was in the previous game, so no need to rate it. Yeah. Now the Spider-Boy suit from Spider-Verse. Yeah, I kind of... This is fine, but I wouldn't really have picked this. Yeah. I wouldn't really have picked this, to be honest. I have to say. I like the cape. The cape is a nice touch, but I think the cape also animates in the Spider-Verse style when you're using that like setting. So I think it's like a 7 or an 8, 7.5. It's an okay idea. I wouldn't really have picked this though, to be honest. It's not a super interesting costume. So yeah, 7.5. Fine. It's fine. The end suit. This was also in Miles's game, and I didn't love it there. It's more of just kind of the clothes over the Spider-Man costume thing, which I mean, it's fine. It's a design choice, which is okay, but yeah, there's a lot of them is the only thing. They're not a very varied roster of costumes. So right now, color variations. We covered this in the last game, so yeah, just the color variations. I don't really like this one with all the with mostly red and then the purpley color. I don't really like this one very much. This isn't a very interesting color. This has got like a Superior Spider-Man vibe to it, with the black eyes and the kind of black underneath. This one has like a bit of a, what is that, like an urban camo texture on the hoodie as well, which wasn't on the rest of these. No, it's not on the rest of these. So they've done something a little different with this one. This one's maybe a bit more interesting in that sense. Still the same camo on the pants, it's a little bit more subtle now. Very high-waisted. That was the thing which I mentioned before, very high-waisted. And then this one's kind of the same thing again, just red eyes now, and grey and white. I don't love these colors. These colors are kind of meh. I'll give them a 5. They don't really do much for me. None of them are particularly interesting. I would prefer the core suit here, even though I don't love the core suit. I think the core suit looks better than a lot of these. Yeah, the core suit looks way better than the rest of these. This is a 5, let's say. Maybe a 4. 4 I think is more appropriate because they're worse than the core suit. So yeah, 4. I don't like this costume. This is a new costume. And I know this one's like a semi-popular one because it's the 10th anniversary suit. So obviously this is our default. With the pink. The pink, I don't know that I would go for that. And I don't like the zipped up, the hoodie, they're like the jumper, which is like zipped up all the way over his face. It just doesn't look right to me. It looks a little weird. I'd kind of prefer it without the jumper. I think I've seen like obviously I've seen the design before, but I've seen a design sheet where it doesn't have the jumper, and I prefer how it looks without the jumper. So if there was a version of this which didn't have the jumper, I think I'd be a bit more lenient on that. But I just kind of don't like the pink either all that much. Pink I don't love. So I mean, that's why we got the colors. But as a suit, I don't really love the shoes either. God, there's a lot of elements to this that I don't like. He looks extra skinny in this one. Yeah, he looks extra skinny in this one. I mean, this is a bad example. This suit is a bad example of the opposite because he's supposed to look a little bit more bulky in this one, but yeah. He looked extra skinny in this one. I don't love it, really. But I don't hate it. I don't hate it, and I know a lot of people like it, so I'm just gonna say it's a 5. It's not to my tastes. I'd say it's about average for me. Not to my tastes, but it's for someone. That someone is not me. Yeah. So that's for the core suit. I don't really like the pink. That's a big part of it as well. So, well, let's try the same thing, but on red. I still don't really like it all that much. The red is a little bit better, though. I prefer the red to the pink. Maybe if it were a brighter red, I might like it more. Because this is quite a dull kind of orangey red, and this is just the same thing but opposite. So Yeah, it's sort of fine. Yeah, it's fine. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. Same kind of thing as before, but yeah, with red instead of pink. So yeah, fine. Not to my tastes. Don't like the core red and the black. This one's interesting though, because it's got a gradient to it. It's got like a blue to pink to like purple gradient at the top. I like that. I like the color scheme, but I don't like the costume, if that makes any sense. The kind of pale blue all the way up to the purple. I actually kind of like that idea. That's a decent idea. But I think overall they're probably the same to me. They're also a 5. Color variations are also a 5 on this one, I would say. I wouldn't say they're any worse than the core costume, but they're not better either. They're not better either to me. Programmable matter. Huh. This was also in the previous game, and I also didn't like it. The weird Deus Ex costume, I called it. And these color variations just suck. Because, like, again, there's so many of Miles' suits of where I'm like, why did you even bother bringing this back? Why not just make a new suit? Why not make a new suit that is better? Rather than bring back a lot of these weird crap ones. Like, this is another weird crap one. And yeah, I really don't like it. So, you've got nasty purple, nasty pinky purple. Tinkerer, I guess, is what they're going for with this one. Because that was the whole deal with the previous game. With Miles' own game. And then there's the yellow one. This really nasty yellowy one. Then there's this bluey one. I'm giving these a 2. These suck. They're all the same thing, just with one color in difference. They're all the exact same thing, so that sucks. So yeah, they're a 2, I would say. Strike suit. This was, again, another one from Miles' own game, so no point in rating the actual costume. Time to just immediately skip to the color variations. So how do I feel about this? So we've got this white one, which actually I don't mind this one. I don't mind this one at all, actually. The white and grey and bits of black in there. That's alright. Then the red and the purple. I don't love this. This is maybe a little not exactly to my tastes. Then there's black and orange. I need to remember giving this suit like a kind of a medium rating. But I think these color schemes are actually okay. I think there are 6 color schemes in this. Like, they don't blow my mind, but they're a little better. I think I like some of these more than the default suit. Still not a suit I would use. Still don't like the big hands and the shoes. They don't really look all that great. But yeah, they're 5. They're 6. I mean, they're a fine 6. So yeah, 6. Agent S.H.I.E.L.D. suit. Yeah, it's just a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent suit. This is another one of those what ifs, one of those, those sterling what if stories that Marvel's got for us now. What if Miles Morales was an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.? I can't imagine that would make any story appreciably different, really, to be perfectly honest with you. Yeah. It's a S.H.I.E.L.D. costume. 5. I don't love S.H.I.E.L.D. costumes. They look okay. But I don't love S.H.I.E.L.D. costumes, but they look okay. It's a 5. And then this one is just black. Just all black instead of the blue. Doesn't really change my mind in any way. This one is just Miles' colors with the red and the black, but it's also got a lot of white in there still too, and I don't love it even yet. And then more gold. More gold. We can't get away from the gold. Gold. They love putting gold on Spider-Man. White gold and really light grey. So also a 5. All 5. Yeah, 5 on these as well. Don't like that. Great responsibility suit, also from the previous game. The colour on this actually looks a little different. The blue I don't remember being this kind of turquoisey. Don't know. Yeah, I mean we covered this in the previous game, so just the colour variations. I don't really like this suit all that much. So yeah, we've got a white one which just has Miles' normal colours of the core black, and then the red webs. It's fine. I don't love it, but it's fine. And then we've got the same kind of thing, but with a red underlying body now. And again, same shoes. Same shoes. They can't get away from these shoes. Yeah, these are like a 5. These are also like a 5, these color variations. A lot of Miles's colors are kind of the same thing. If the suit doesn't naturally have Miles's color palette, one of them is going to be Miles's color palette. If only they did this sort of thing with Peter, of where if one of his suits didn't have his normal colors, they would just give him his normal colors. They don't do that with him, though. They just give him random weird colors like Mustard Spider-Man, but with Miles's suits there is, yeah, this... almost all of his suits, if they don't normally have Miles's normal color palette, they'll have it as one of his costumes. And there'll be maybe a variation on that again, and then there'll probably be a suit which has either white or gold on it, or both. So yeah, 5 on those. They're mediocre. Across the Spider-Verse suit, I don't actually... How do I feel about this suit? I like the Into the Spider-Verse suit a lot, but I don't really care for the Across the Spider-Verse suit, to be honest. It doesn't look... Like, I kind of feel like there's just no, like, major difference to it, as opposed to his normal Into the Spider-Verse suit. Like, it's not appreciably different. Well, it is different, but, like, it's no better to me. Like, I remember I gave the Into the Spider-Verse suit a 10, mostly because of how unique it was in that game. And if it was in this game, because there's so many Spider-Verse suits, I would just give it like an 8. And I feel that's kind of how I'm giving this one. It's like this one, there's so many other Spider-Verse suits, this one isn't unique, so I'm just going to give it an 8. And as a whole, it's not as interesting, because it doesn't have, like, the Into the Spider-Verse suit has, like, the shiny webs. This suit doesn't have that. It's got, like, this sort of little bits of design on it, but they're quite subtle because the suit is all mostly the same color, so it's kind of hard to see them. Yeah, it's got these little bits of design like on his kind of torso on his arms, so it's a little bit of it there, and just the red trim on the inside, on the inside of his arm and on the outside of his body. Doesn't do much for me. It's an 8. Fine. Or no, it's a 7. It's a 7. It's not as good as the Into the Spider-Verse suit, because yeah, as I say, if that suit had first appeared in this game, then I would give it an 8 because there's so many other Spider-Verse suits. But this one I don't love. It's like a 7. I don't like it as much as the Into the Spider-Verse suit. It's fine. It's a 7. It's decent enough though. It's not bad. It's pretty decent. But yeah, it's a 7 as compared to the other ones. Crimson Cowl, which was in the previous game. I like this one a lot. I like the Thriller outfit. So yeah, now we got the color variations to go over, which none of them are that crazy. Again, as I say, if there's a suit which doesn't natively just have purely Miles's normal color scheme, then they're gonna add it as one of his color variations. And so they did, and it's Miles's colors normally, the black and red. It's the same thing as normal, but yeah, it's not core red anymore, it's core black. So it's the same thing again. And it's like, okay, here's one with blue, and then here's one with orange and gray eyes. Another set of 5s. Another 5 out of 10 set of color variations, I will say. None of them are particularly interesting. This blue is fine, but it doesn't blow me away. It doesn't do anything interesting to me. Don't know why they decided to slap some blue on his knees. Don't know why they went for that. I don't know why they went for that. Looks a little weird. Yeah, the blue, not my thing. Not to my tastes. I don't like the blue. Yeah, I don't like the blue. And yeah, the orange is also bad. Orange is very bad. Orange does not look good on Spider-Man, especially not with the grey eyes. It's not good. 5 out of 10. Yeah, 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10. This is the only one which is okay. These two were terrible. That's 4 out of 10 from me. On these costumes. And okay, now we got the best there is suit. I think this comes from a What If. I think. Again, another one of those sterling what ifs. What if Miles Morales was Wolverine? I guess that changes some stories, maybe. Yeah. So, I like Wolverine, but I don't like this costume. I don't like this costume very much. It's just a Wolverine costume with a hoodie and no mouth. Doesn't do it for me. Doesn't do it for me really at all. Like, the red one is, yeah, it's not very good looking, I think. It's got this weird light grey hoodie, which doesn't look very good. And then the boots. Yeah, I don't much like this. I don't much like this at all. I think I'm gonna give this actually like a 4 for the base costume. I don't like the red. I don't like how shiny it is. Yeah, I don't like that. That's a 4. So now, from the other suits, you know what? I actually like how his eyes express, because they're narrow here and they're open more here. So yeah, I actually like how his eyes express. So I'll give it that, but it's still a 4, this costume. And so now we've got the more normal Wolverine colors. So we've got brown, yellow, and black, and we've got X-Force, and then we've got not yellow and blue though. It's like a sort of bluey color, but it's so dull. It's such a dark blue that it's like, why even bother at that point? These two are like mostly the exact same, aside from one color, so I don't really much care to really compete these against each other. I don't know that I wanted a Wolverine costume for Miles, to be honest. I like Wolverine, but I don't need Wolverine costumes on Miles. So yeah, that's a 5 out of 10 for the rest of the costumes. I like them more than this, but I still don't particularly like them. This doesn't look great to me, but these look fine to me, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't like this, but these are okay. So yeah, they're a 5 in that sense. Oh, this one has the yellow stripes like from his jacket in the movie, so that's something, I guess. Yeah, fine. Yeah, that's a 5 on the costumes, 4 on the default. Now I got the Dark Ages suit, so this is where we start getting into the weird symbiote costumes that Miles has. That's fine. It's very goopy, very shiny and goopy. It's a little messy though. It's quite messy. This one has the squinty eyes, so I guess the eyes do express a little bit. It's hard to tell because there's two very different colors going on here. So default costume, this is kind of the generic kind of null-ish sort of costume. There is actually more of a nully one soon, but yeah, this is kind of generic symbiote nully looking costume going on. I don't love it. There's the weird veins, weird red veins on it. They're black here. Yeah. 6. It's fine. It's a little better than average, but doesn't do much for me. All in all, I don't really need much of the symbiote costumes for Miles. I think Miles actually genuinely has more symbiote costumes than Peter, which is crazy to me, because Peter has 4. Covered 2 of them already, but 2 of them are spoilery. And I think Miles might have 5. I think Miles genuinely might have 5, which is kind of absurd to me. I mean, technically speaking, if you want to count the movie symbiote, that's 5 for Peter as well. But I think Miles also has 5, so this is 1. I'll keep that in mind now, actually. So default, I'm giving this one a 6. Color schemes, what do we got? We got a Carnage one sort of thing. It's just the same colors but flipped. Don't much care for that. Anti-Venomy one looks kind of gross and nasty with the sort of bluey tint to it. Looks kind of like it's made out of snow or something with the bluey tint. I don't care for that really at all either. This shoes thing is nasty. I don't like the shoes look. The shoes, tiny little elf shoes, they look really weird. This one's kind of interesting with the kind of rising, the kind of hot tone to it with the yellow at the top and then the sort of orangey red at the bottom. That's kind of something, but no, not really. These are a 5 on the colors, but the default is 6. So yeah, 6 on the default, 5 on the colors. Not great, don't like it. So now we got the second of Miles' symbiote ones, the Absolute Carnage suit. It's the same kind of thing again. most of the colors are pretty identical. This one's got yellow eyes and red webbing, red accents, kind of nasty toes. Weird nasty toes, I don't like that. It's kind of goopy and nasty as per usual. This one's a 5. 5, I don't like it as much. It looks a little too gross to me. It's a little too gross looking. He has no, they aren't expressive. They're the same eyes. They're the same eyes, I think. I don't think they're expressive. So this one is a 5 on default. Christ. And I think these costumes are also, or these color variations are also a 5. So this is just generic Carnage one, except it's got a bit of a gradient of the black coming up. That's something. Actually, no, they all have the gradient, so that's not anything, actually. They've all got the same gradient of black coming up the legs, so same thing. 5. 5 across the board, yeah. So this is 5, this is 5, this is 5, this is 5. So yeah, generic colors, anti-venom, normal venom, Carnage, whatever the normal, then default. So 5 across the board, nothing crazy about that, nothing interesting really. Second symbiote suit for Miles. And we're on to the third symbiote suit for Miles. This is the King in Black, so this is a more nully one, I think, because yeah, he's got the null symbol on his forehead. This is maybe a 6. This is maybe a 6. There's a little bit more design going on in this. It's still very goopy, but it's not got too much like nasty tentacly stuff like the Carnage one. Yeah. This one's okay. I kind of wish it didn't have the null symbol on his forehead though. Yeah, with the shoulder, the bone shoulder pads and the arm wraps and the bone knee pads. I think this is a 6.5. It's a little better than the first symbiote one, but bear in mind we're 3 symbiote suits for Miles now, which is quite surprising. Yeah. That's a 6.5, I'd say, for the default costume, and I'm gonna say it's a 6 for the normal ones because this green one is nasty as hell. So yeah, we got the same colors but flipped. So yeah, same, just red body, black accents, anti-venomy colors, and then bizarrely green. I guess they were thinking green this time for some reason. They want to just have a gross color scheme of green and bone. I guess. Not great. Don't like that very much. So that's, yeah, 6.5 for default, 6 overall for the color variations. Now what do we got? Now we got the Bariqua? I don't know how to say that word. I've never seen that word before. I'm going to say that I said that right. Bariqua. So this is Miles as Captain Puerto Rico, I guess. Is that the idea here? This is another what if one? Something like that. That what if Miles was Captain America, but I guess he's Captain Puerto Rico. It's fine. It's just a generic Miles costume, but with the Puerto Rican flag built into it. It's fine. Very shiny. A very like weird, like shiny texture to it. Like this really shiny texture. I think it's like a 5. I think for the default costume. I don't feel one way or another about it. It's a 5. It's 5 for the default costume. And then like a 3 for these extra costumes. They are very uninspired. This one, the blue, it's fine. It fits the color scheme a little bit more than the black, to be honest. The red, it looks terrible. The white looks terrible. So that's like a 4 for the default, or 5 for the default costume, 4 for the color variations. So what you'll notice is that I'm burning through a lot of these pretty fast. And that's because I just don't have anything to say about them. There's a lot of just junk costumes in this game, which feel like they're just kind of thrown in. Like, for Peter, it's all the movie costumes. That's just like, we gotta fill out the list. Throw in more movie costumes. Throw in costumes that he wears for 5 seconds in the movies. Just reuse the costumes in the previous games, I guess. Very few new costumes for Peter, and a lot of the Miles ones are kind of generic sort of things. A lot of what if ones. 3 symbiote costumes for Miles and 5 for Peter. So you'd think there'd be more symbiote costumes for Peter, but I guess not. So yeah, Lots of this. Lots of this going on. Pretty sure I gave this 5 and 4, if memory serves. So yeah, burning through these real fast. Don't care for this. It's fine. This one's alright. The Mysterio one. This one's alright. Yeah. Yeah, this one's alright. I don't mind this. With the, it's got the eyes built in. That's alright. The kind of sort of glowing chest. This is one of the few times where the green actually works. I actually like this well enough. This is like a 7. Like a 7. I actually like this. It's been a little busy with a lot of these lines and things going on with it. Yeah, it's a little busy with some of the lines. It's got the 2 tones of green, which it doesn't really need, but at least it's only got the 1 tone of purple. Not bad. Not bad. I like the fishbowl. It looks alright. The little trim around it is okay. This is good. This is good. This one's alright. I like this one well enough. Color variations. What do we got? You know, actually, I'm going to give this like an 8, because Jesus Christ, as compared to the rest of the quality, this is like an 8 on the default. So, what have we got in the color variations? So, white one, white, black, and gold. Fine. Fine. And you know what? This one follows the exact trend as Miles' other costumes. There's one with white, black, and gold. There's one which has sort of got his generic colors with this last one. And then there's one which is just the same colors as the default, but flipped. Which most of the time is his default colors. So same colors, but flipped, that's fine. As color variations go, this is like a 6. No, this is a 5. As color variations go, it's like a 5, I think. It's fine. Don't really love these color variations. They're kind of meh. Yeah, they don't really do anything for me. I like the default costume. That's like a 7.5. Pretty easy. Or no, yeah, I said it's an 8. I said it's an 8. It's pretty good. Pretty good default costume, actually. Okay. Now we've got Miles' version of this costume, which is this the exact same? Let me have a look. Is this the exact same? I think it genuinely might be the exact same. It is. So, rating stands. Whatever I said about the other one, it is literally the exact same, but he's just a little skinnier. So whatever I said about that one stands for this, because this is completely identical. Now we got the city sounds. I like this. I like this a lot. I feel no need to be apologetic. I like this a lot. Why couldn't we get one of these for Peter? One of these, like, the kind of jazz era Spider-Man? That looks cool as hell. Why don't we get one of these for Peter? The red web pattern on the shirt, that's cool. The pattern on the shirt is cool. He's got a wallet chain. The trousers are a little. Maybe I wouldn't have. Yeah, maybe I wouldn't have gone for the really high-waisted, loose trousers quite so much. Yeah. The hat looks cool. I really like the hat. Just think what a realistic. I say real. A non-Spider-Verse noir suit with hat and trench coat would have looked like on Peter. That would have been nice, but instead we got the Spider-Verse version, which is fine. But I mean, at the very least, give us the normal noir suit then. If you're gonna put in the Spider-Verse, well, why not just put in the normal noir suit then? At that point, but yeah, very frustrating that. Yeah, I like this a lot. I like this a lot. This is like a 9. I really like this. Shoes I don't love. The shoes is loafers. I don't love that. Gloves are cool. The hat I really like. The waistcoat, or not the waistcoat, the sweater vest is kind of cool. And the shirt I really like actually. And I really like the color variations as well. I like the color variations quite a bit. They're all, again, they're very much the same thing, but they've got different colors. But they're different colors in different tones which you might want them. So, for example, there's sort of a greeny one with some blue. They're color tones that go well together. So this all comes together quite nicely. This one with the white tie and the red shirt and all that stuff, that all comes together quite nicely. This one with the blue tie and the kind of the sort of bluiness and the blue pattern on the shirt and all that stuff comes together quite nicely with the sort of like dark green bits and all that. That's quite nice. And then there's the brown hat, and then maybe the brown hat doesn't necessarily go with this one super well. The purple vest, the kind of red tie, and the blue shirt, maybe that doesn't perfectly go together. The gloves go with the rest of this though. The blue, yeah, that one's alright. I like this one well enough still. I like this one quite a bit though, with the green tie and the yellow shirt. That's pretty cool. This one looks cool. This one looks nice and pulpy. Yeah, they're all fun. This is a good one. I think this is a 9 overall, actually. This is the only time I'm going to give that, I'm assuming. A 9 overall. Actually, no, I give a 10 overall to the classic black suits. That's pretty good. These are pretty good. I like these well enough. Hey, you did it. You got a good one again. You got a good one again. I really like this one. Pretty sure you have to do that Jazz quest line to get it, though. Which is a shame, because it's not the most interesting thing in the world. Yeah, 9 overall. Pretty good. Pretty good. Like that. Okay, now we've got the Deluxe Edition suits, which are pretty much all bad. So we've got the Orantia suit. I don't know what this is supposed to be. I think they're all original designs. I think they are. I think they're all original designs. So this is something, I guess, but I'm giving it a 2. I think this is busy, messy, nasty. It's certainly something, but it is busy and nasty. This weird mask makes him look like a wrestler, but is he supposed to be a wrestler? I don't know. Parts of this look like the advanced suit, but I don't know if it's supposed to look like the advanced suit with the gold and bits and all that stuff. I don't know. It's a 2. I hate this, actually. I really don't like it. Then we got the apocalyptic suit, which I don't know the purpose of this in a world with the Spider-Punk. And also it looks worse than Spider-Punk because he's got this stupid piece of hair sticking out at the top. And the eyes look bad, the jacket looks kind of daft. It's so busy. It's not as bad as the other one, but it's like a 4. Even still, this one's really bad. I really don't like this. Yeah, I really don't like this one at all, actually. It's like a 4. Yeah, it's a really silly, kind of busy costume. There's way too much going on with it. Yeah, it's like a 4. 4, I don't like that at all. Tactical suit, Christ. Christ above. This is rough looking. God. This is rough looking. I think this is also a 3. It's a 3. The eyes, all this stuff. God, all these suits look terrible. Why do all these DLC suits look terrible? They charge people 90 quid for this? Christ, those look terrible. This is real bad. This is like rough. It's so busy, and oh god, they're all really busy. I don't even want to look at that. Okay, so this one's called the Stone Monkey one, so I guess it's supposed to have like a sort of a Monkey King idea to it, but it looks like the Spider-Man 1602 costume. If you know what that costume looks like. It's got the same color scheme, and it's got the shoulder piece and neck fuzz. It's neck fur here, but on the 1602 it's like one of those neck things that you had on like the, I don't know, like the white neck collar thing that stuck out. I don't know what you call it. But he has bare hands showing, and he had like white cuffs. And he had the red shoulder piece. Yeah, a lot of this is very similar to that, but it's like, this is like a 6. I don't mind this one, actually. This one's okay. It's still very busy. It's like a 6. I don't hate this one. This one's okay. Yeah, it's like a 6. There's bits of it which I don't really like. I don't like these like gold shoes, and the fur here doesn't need to be there. Some of the pattern here on his arms is maybe a little unnecessary. The weird little spider pattern is, yeah, no. Yeah, given that it's called the Stone Monkey suit, there's still a lot of spider design on it, huh? Nothing monkey-ish about this, really, is there? It just, I suppose, has a Monkey King sort of design idea to it. It's fine. It's fine. It's a 6. It's a 6. It's okay. It's only one of these, but it's okay. This one's back down to being a 4. Holy hell. No, this is a 3. It is so busy. This is the 25th century suit. God, if we're wearing this in the 25th century, God only help us. It's got this like bubbly armor. Is it a diving suit? Why has he got these giant boots and huge bulky body? Is this a space suit or a diving suit? His helmet looks daft. It's a really big, bulky helmet. It's kind of Ant-Man helmet. Is that what it's supposed to look like? It's got like an Ant-Man helmet-y vibe to it. I don't like it very much, though. Don't like it. Don't very much like it. Yeah, it's a 4, 3. No, 3. Yeah, 3 is what I said. It's a 3. I don't really like the colors on it. The sort of bluiness to this top piece doesn't mesh with literally anything else in the rest of the costume. Because all the rest of the pipes and everything are blue or white, I mean. And then there's this sort of like dark red, but then blacks, and then this pinky red, and then this kind of hot rod red. There's so many different colors going on. Oh god, it's a mess. It was terrible. I hate this. It's a 3. Okay, so now we're on to Miles's ones. We get the encoded suit, and unfortunately, because IGN is like this, I now have to look at this goddamn stealth suit the whole time in the background. Because IGN, for some reason, likes these generic-ass shieldy looking suits for some reason, I guess. But yeah, so we got the encoded suit. This is Miles's DLC suits now. Yeah. Meh. I feel nothing when I'm looking at this. This is a 5 for me. It's busy, but I feel nothing. I don't even feel contempt looking at this. I feel nothing. That's such a weird, like... What is the design going on with these shoes? I don't know. 5. 5, yeah, I feel nothing. Feel nothing. The yellow... no. Yeah, nothing. Feel nothing. Biomechanical suit is... Yeah, I suppose it says say biomechanical, so it's supposed to look kind of alive, but looks very chitinous. Like, kind of like crabby, I suppose, with a lot of these bits on it. Crabby with like the muscle underneath. Why is this on a Spider-Man suit? Why is this a Spider-Man suit? That's my big question. Why does it look like this? 4. I don't hate it, but it's not good. I don't hate it, but it's not very good. I just don't, all these DLC suits sucks. Why are all these DLC suits bad? Why would you, like, if you want people to buy it, you would largely, you know, you would largely put some good stuff in there, right? Yeah, it's just all bad. All these suits suck. I look at 4. It's not great, but it's not the worst thing I've seen in the world. Tokusatsu suit. Power Ranger, I guess? The Kamen Rider Power Ranger thing going on. It's funny, there's multiple Miles suits which have a kind of a Power Ranger thing going on. With the Strike suit as well, it had that kind of sort of Kamen Rider energy to it. And then Peter obviously had his, what do you call it, suit? The Iron Spider suit, which had all the Power Ranger variations, so it's like 6. Don't mind it. It's fine. It's a 6. It's pretty cool. I don't mind it. I don't hate it. It's okay. It's fine. Okay, so now we've got the Agimat suit. I don't know how you say that word. I don't know if it's Agimat or Agimat. I couldn't tell you. This one's very busy. Jeez, this one does have a sort of movie quality to it, though, of how busy it is. It's got all these little tiny pieces of design and little inlays and all this gold stuff all over it, and just... Dear God, this one is quite gaudy, isn't it? It's got the toes in it as well. Is this one supposed to have some sort of Black Panther thing going on with it because of all the kind of like tech stuff, but also all the gold and like the design stuff? And some of this mask stuff has a certain Black Panther quality to it. So is it supposed to have that? I don't really like it though. I'm asking the questions, but I just don't really like it all that much, to be honest with you. Yeah, it does have a sort of movie-ish quality to it. It has all these like inlays and bits of design. It is really, really over-designed. God, yeah, jeez. I don't even know what to give this, to be honest. Can I give it a confusion out of 10? Because I don't really know what I'm looking at. Feeling like a 5. I feel like a 5. I feel kind of nothing looking at this. Yeah, I feel kind of nothing looking at this. Yeah, like a 5. Yeah, really like a 5. This one's like not awful, but it's just really not good. So I can't give it anything other than a 5. I think, 'cause I just don't feel anything looking at it. God, so we got the Red Spectre one now. And so this will act, I suppose, as a springboard into our spoiler costumes. So if you needed another warning, there it is. So this is the last DLC costume. No, not last DLC costume. Last pre-order costume, I believe. Last Deluxe Edition costume. Where we got Miles, he's got a hood, he's got this extra mask, and he's got hair sticking out, and he's got all this crap on him, and watches, and sandals. I think. They look like sandals. This is so unbelievably busy that it is absurd. I need to break this down. We need to discuss this. So, right. He's got this spider on him, which wraps around like this, and it looks like a... You know those t-shirts that you see at Halloween that people wear where it's the skeleton? That's what it looks like. That's what this looks like to me. And it's got the fading red here, which is a nice touch. But I'm assuming that's like this, like sort of skeleton thing is part of the Red Spectre thing, that it's supposed to maybe have something to do with that. It's also got this like weird blotchy texture on the inside of his legs. It's got a little bit of it on his arms as well. And oh Christ, just the fact that he's wearing this mask over his mask. And he's got a hood on top of that is absurd to me. It's absolutely ridiculous. Why does he have so much crap on him? Like, he's got a hood, the mask, this like face mask as well, but he still can't keep his bloody hair in. Like, at this point, you'd think that he wouldn't. He's fighting so hard to cover any sort of distinguishing feature that why would you leave your hair out? Particularly, it's colored hair, meaning that it's significantly more distinctive. So, like, it's dyed hair, so it's considerably more identifying. Oh, this is really terrible. This one's really awful. And that's not even talking about like the color work on it. The color work isn't great either. I don't like the colors of it really. Like the grey color, and this red is like really bright. But it's also like really orangey as well. It's got all this blotchy stuff on it too. And then they've just got the only place where there's the web texture is on some of his hood, his arms, and and the inside of his legs. And he's wearing these stupid sandal-looking things as well. He just looks like a bit of an idiot, I think, with this costume. I think that's kind of the problem I'm having with it. Is that oh no, he's got the web texture on the side as well, but it's really subtle. You can sort of see it there. He just looks like a complete idiot, I think, with this one. I think that's a big problem I'm having with it. I think I'm giving this one a 1. This is god-awful. This frustrates every design sense I can think of off the top of my head. Because, like, the hood looks really... Like, the hood on its own isn't the problem. And the mask on its own isn't the problem. It's... The face mask as a whole, it's a flat colour. And there's nothing to it. It's completely flat as a colour. And it seemingly wraps around the back of his head. And you have to wonder, why is this even there? Like, why is it there? Because you're just adding another colour to his head. And this grey never appears anywhere else in his costume. So why is it there? It's this extra colour which is just utterly pointless. Like, it's not white, it's not silver, it's not red, it's not the same as the kind of like light, the kind of grey on his body. So why is it there? What is this accomplishing? This stupid looking face mask over the rest of the costume. Why is that there? It makes him look like an idiot. And then he's got his hair sticking out as well. It's like, oh god. Oh Jesus. So yeah, this one's god awful. I'm giving this one a 1. Giving this one a 1. And before we get into the spoiler costumes, I suppose just to give you a moment, in case you really needed an extra warning, I thought I'd bring something up which I thought was funny. That wasn't it. But yeah, so I thought I'd bring up the fact that this is now the 4th design critique video, I have only ever worn 2 shirts in these. So in the last 2 Spider-Man ones, I was wearing the same shirt, even though they were recorded on different days. And this shirt that I'm wearing right now, this red shirt, is the same one I was wearing in the first one of these videos. So I just thought that'd be funny to bring up. So even though I've made 4 of these videos, I've only worn 2 different shirts in them, which is kind of funny in its own right. But yeah, I don't exactly have a giant wardrobe apparently. I mean, I've got more shirts than just 2, but you know, apparently only 2 of them ever show up. Anyways, time to move on to the spoiler costumes, so that's your last warning. So if you haven't seen them, I don't feel like I need to give huge warnings constantly, because I mean the game's already a month old at the time of recording, so you know. Still, anyways, people miss these things and people complain a lot. So anyways, so now we've got the symbiote suit, not the black suit, the symbiote suit. I like this more than the black suit, and ironically, I like this for the exact reason why I don't like the black suit, and it's because this one's really goopy and horrible and evil looking. Like, look at his eyes; he's got really angry eyes, and he's got his head dimple here, and he's really goopy and gross looking. And I think this works a lot better narratively. For obviously, this occurs later in the story. Is the suit switches to be this, looking much more evil and alien, as opposed to the suit before, where it's supposed to look more like a suit, but it's still pretty goopy, which I don't think it should be. That's why I didn't really like the other one. That's why I didn't really like the other black suit, because it's too goopy for that part of the game. I think it should just look like a suit whenever it's at that point in the game, but unfortunately it still looks kind of goopy, which I don't like. Which is why I prefer this one, because this one is goopy, but it has narrative reason to look goopy, because it takes place much later in the story, and so naturally it should look a little goopier at this point in the story. But yeah, I don't know, I like the bigger symbol. There's not a huge amount of design in this. It's very just kind of like goopy and nasty looking, of where he's got like these, he's got more venomy looking eyes, like the shapes of his eyes are more venomy looking. They're a lot sharper, they've got more like little points in them. And so simply the symbol is much bigger. It kind of wraps around all over him, like how Venom looks in the game. And he's got like all these little veins and all this stuff, and he does look a bit like a Snickers bar. But yeah, all these little bits of like goop and like little it looked like tendrils sticking onto his shoulders and stuff like this, and wrapping through all the muscle on his body. And it looks, again, goopy and nasty, and I think it should look that way. So it's a 9. It's a 9. It's still not beaten the classic black suit, because the classic black suit is perfect. But this is like, there really aren't many black suits in this game, which is quite surprising. You'd think there'd be more of them, given that that's this whole game's deal, or this game's whole deal is the black suit. You'd think that they'd do more of them, right? You'd think there'd be more black suits. You'd think they'd throw in as many of the different black suits as you can, or black suit adjacent costumes. But for some reason, they really don't use many of them. They only use 4 in the game. And this, or, well, 5 technically, including the movie one, but I mean, it's just the same as the normal suit, but black. That's the thing. It's like a color variant, that one. But yeah, it has a second slot for some reason. But yeah. So this one, yeah, I'm satisfied with giving this one a 9. It's very veiny, as I say. He looks like a Snickers bar. He's got his head dimple. It's a little indent on the top of his head there, like he's a baby. But yeah, anyways, so that is our second to last black suit. But again, big ol' spoilers. This is the last one, being the anti-venom suit, which is less goopy than a lot of the other black suits, and like this one has a little bit more design on it. It's weird to me. I feel like this, if you color flip this, I feel like this is what the black suit should look like when he gets it the first time, that it just looks like a costume, right? But maybe obviously not as goopy as this, because this is still pretty goopy. It's still got like kind of gross, bit like mushy texture to it. I like the eyes though. I like the shape of the eyes. And I like the black symbol and the fact that it wraps through his costume like that. But it's very basic. It's very simple. Like it's pretty much entirely just white. And I don't love the idea of it, that it's just kind of all the powers but none of the weaknesses. I don't really like that as a concept. But yeah, like he's got these like black souls as well. But again, this looks a lot more just like a costume. It doesn't look as kind of alien as the other symbiote suits do. And again, it's weird to me to think that Miles has like 3 different symbiote costumes. One of them is like a Carnage costume, one of them is like a Null costume, and then one of them is just a more normal symbiote. But then all of the ones that Peter has, pretty much all of them are narrative specific. Because he's got his normal black suit, then he's got his more Venomy one, then there's the classic one, and then there's this one, which is the anti-Venom one. You'd think that they'd do like a Carnage-y looking one for Peter, or they do like one of them which is supposed to look like one of the other symbiote bad guys. It's weird. It's weird that they don't do that. But yeah, I don't like this one as much as the symbiote suit. I think it's like almost too simple. And again, it's maybe like, again, I feel like this one shouldn't be as goopy as it is. I feel like all the symbiote suits are a little too goopy. Again, the only one that isn't goopy is the classic one, but that one's still shiny. Like this one's goopy, but it's still shiny. Like you can see, like the way that the texture on it is like quite horrid and like almost like jelly-ish. Like that's like I can only think to describe it as goopy because of the way that the light hits it. It looks like it's hitting oil, which I don't think it should always look like that. Even though in a lot of stuff that's how they do the symbiote, is that it looks very oily and goopy all the time. But I feel like if that was how a costume looked, you would probably cotton on to the fact that it's pretty evil, pretty fast, to the fact that, you know, it looks like horrid evil tar. You would think that it's evil. It's maybe not good for you. But I don't know. Anyways, I think this one's like I think it's still an 8. I think it's still pretty good. It looks a lot better than some of the other costumes. It's well modeled. It's a good looking costume, I think. Even though it's not particularly to my tastes, I think it's still a very good costume. And they've done what they set out to accomplish, which is to basically, just make it look a little less evil. But even still, I think it's still a little too goopy, a little too oily for that. Which is why it doesn't get something a little higher, in my opinion. So now, we're on to the final costume, and boy, oh boy, is it a costume. So, where do I begin? Where do I begin? You know, I feel like it's worth noting that Spider-Man 2 has been somewhat divisive, and by somewhat divisive I mean it's been largely, a lot of people have liked it, but a lot of people have complaints about it as well, which is fair. But there's one thing, if there's one thing that people can agree on, it's the fact that this suit is absolutely terrible. So first things first is the elephant in the room, which is the fact that this suit is apparently, I don't know if it's been confirmed or not, but I seem to remember reading that it's apparently designed by Adidas, because he's wearing officially licensed Adidas shoes, and that would definitely explain why it looks so dreadful. Because yeah, I'm assuming that that is true, because it does very much look like it is. But okay, let's take it from the top, literally. So first things first, we got his hair sticking out, which I've addressed before, I do not like. It's a distinguishing feature, which largely Spider-Man's costumes are pretty good at avoiding having any, personally distinguishing features. This is called the Evolved suit, by the way. Definitely feels devolved. But, right, so he's got that, which is terrible. The fact that his hair is sticking out, it just looks daft. Then there's this weird texture on his mask, which is like, it's this weird, like, kind of diamondy texture, I think, that he's got going on it. It's weird anyways. And something which you will quickly notice if you look very carefully is the fact that his costume looks like a shoe. Meaning, it's not surprising that if it is true that this is designed by Adidas, I believe that is the case. But like, he's got this whole breathable, like, dotted material all along his costume, which is the type of thing you get on a trainer, like a pair of trainers, like breathable shoes, or sneakers as they're called elsewhere. But that's the type of thing, that kind of breathable material is the type of thing you get. And yeah, something that perplexes me quite a bit is the fact that blue has never been anywhere in Miles's design. But yeah, throughout many of his alternate colors, well, we'll get to these alternate colors in a second, but throughout many of his alternate colors, blue has arisen as a core component for some reason, even though it's not a part of his color scheme normally, nor does it need to be, really. But here we've got this disgusting, like, really neon blue that just goes throughout the whole design and is really intrusive, and it's also covering the shoe. It looks like bloody toothpaste. Again, I've talked about it. Miles has had toothpaste costumes in the past, but this is certainly one of them as well. And the blue webs and the fact that he's got the hood, but it's not up. He's got a hoodie, but it's down for some reason. Yeah, and there's all these, just like you can see here, there's all this random bits of texture and stuff like that, and this breathable texture that's supposed to be on it. But yeah, this shiny toothpaste on him, which begins and ends in seemingly random locations, because the bits on the sides of his legs just seem random, like they don't connect to the spider. These bits, okay, fine, they connect to the spider, I can understand why they're there. But why is this bit here? Why is this bit on the side of his leg here? Where does that connect to? It connects to nothing. It hits the bottom of the belt shape, and then it just starts. It just goes down to his foot, into his shoe. And again, all of this design feels like it's designed to draw your eyes to his shoes, because his mask is, like, fairly lacking in terms of design at all, really. He's just got the simple eyes and that's it. The mask is fully black. There's no like design on it or anything. There's no webs on the mask. And then his arms are like, most of his design, like even his legs, are like purely featureless pretty much, aside from the sides of them. And the sides of them are definitely designed to draw your eyes down to the bottom of the foot, because that's the same color as on the shoe. And the shoe is so bright, because it's the only white on his design otherwise, that it draws your eyes. And again, this blue that comes around all his design then goes into the shoes and it draws your eyes down there. So I feel like the design definitely feels like it's kind of designed to draw your eyes to his shoe, because of the way the color balance is. And this red isn't too bright, but the blue is significantly brighter. All these little things that just feel like, feels like, yeah, it's designed to draw your eyes to his shoe. But yeah, this is a terrible, terrible costume for obvious reasons. But I'm going to take a look at these other colors before I make final judgment on it for once. For the only time that I'm doing this. And yeah, so for this second one, they've changed his red to be white. His eyes are still red. They're a slightly brighter red now. And he's now got this weird, he's got this kind of gradient pattern from blue into the red along his arms and legs, but that's not on anything else. And his shoes are still the exact same across all four designs, across all four color schemes. They're the exact same, because they only made one. They only designed one shoe. But yeah. Then this third one, black eyes. Fully red? No, there's a slight black at the bottom of the stripe. Actually, no, it's even the same here, as it's slightly darker at the bottom of the stripe, which yeah, just looks like toothpaste flowing through him. And then they've just made it black. This one's mostly black, but it's still got the blue webs for some bloody reason that look terrible. Even though there's no blue otherwise in this design apart from the shoes. Yeah, the blue on the shoes looks bad. And yeah, whoops. Yeah, this one just doesn't look good at all. Then you've got this white one at the end with the red eyes, but otherwise there's basically no red in his design. And he looks like the shoe. He looks like the shoe with these ones. Yeah, so this is a 1. This is a 1 out of 10. I can't stand this. It's really awful. Let me double check the Adidas thing. Okay, so I had a peek, and it is in fact this is in fact fully designed by Adidas. So yeah. Hence why the shoes are exactly the same in all designs, and why in that final design he looks exactly like the shoe. And again, not only the shoes are, but every element of this is apparently product placement of some variety, because you can get the top part as a top, and you can get the trousers as the trousers. So yeah. Hence why the trousers are so stark in terms of design, because they're supposed to be like running leggings sort of things. And largely those are fairly sparse in terms of design. But yeah. I don't know how this sort of thing makes it into a game. I have to admit, it's pretty awful. Pretty dreadful. I just kind of don't understand how this sort of thing finds its way into a game. But yeah, it's awful. It's pretty awful. I cannot stand this design. It's terrible. It's a 1 out of 10. And that's the score that we're ending this on, because there's no other costumes as it stands. I might do another one of these when all the DLC is out, because there is definitely going to be DLC. I'd be shocked if there is not. So yeah, there's probably not gonna. I might do one of these whenever all the DLC is out. So we'll see what the story is with DLC costumes, because they'll probably bring back a lot of costumes from the first game and from Miles' own game. And again, there's quite a few baffling omissions in this game, which I'm assuming they will add in with DLC, because such is the nature of things. And yeah, so they'll probably put in some new ones. God only knows, we might get to see Sensational Spider-Man, the Ben Reilly Spider-Man costume at some point. It might show up eventually. Spider-Man Unlimited might show up eventually. Some of these things might show up eventually in DLCs down the line. We can only hope and pray that they won't be as bad as this Miles Morales costume if there is new costumes designed by Insomniac. Granted, this costume is not designed by Insomniac, but I will also say that a lot of their own designed costumes are not very good. Such as all the DLC ones, all the Deluxe Edition ones. Now, I don't actually know if those were designed by Insomniac or not. Now that I think about it, I'm not going to check it now because I was just about to end the video. But yeah, let me have a look at some of the ones that I actually liked. So this one was pretty good. What was my favorite of the Miles ones? I mean, I kind of like this version of this costume probably more than most of his other costumes. I kind of mostly just like the upgraded suit. I really like the upgraded suit in this game. It's pretty good, to be honest. A lot of Peter suits are really terrible. This is an easy 10 out of 10, this costume. This is, I think, probably the best costume in the game. This is what you want in the black suit game. You want this. This is what everybody wants. It's 10 out of 10. Nope, god awful, absolutely not, never again. Nope, I'm trying to find somewhere to take this off screen with, but there aren't many better things to look at right now. Christ. This one was pretty good. Superior Spider-Man. God, there really aren't many new costumes in this game, aren't there? Okay, oh, let me count. Let me go through and count the new Peter costumes. That's 1. Advanced 2. There's 2. Black Suit 1. Scarlet 3. That's 3. Kuma Suit 4. That was the previous one. That was the previous one. Amazing 2. 5. Superior 6. Arachnite 7. Spider-Verse Noir 8. Secret War Civil War 9. Webbed Black Suit, this counts I guess, 10. New Blue Suit, I fully do not understand this, 11. And Classic Black, 12. New Red and Blue, 13. Life Story, 14. Last Hunt, 15. Saving Lives, 16. So of Peter's, like, I think like nearly 30 suits, 16 of them are new. So that's something at the very least. I'm gonna leave the screen on the good one. Where is it again? There it is. I'm just gonna leave it on this because I don't want to look at that evolved suit anymore, and I don't want to look at some of these like garbage ones anymore. So yeah, that's it. More or less, that's us done. So this game does have some good ones, but it has a lot of bad ones. I mean, a lot of bad ones. I think the ratio of good to bad is a lot more skewed towards bad in this one. If only because a lot of the returning suits have really awful color variations. And that's just really frustrating a lot of the time. That they just have really bad color variations in all of them. Which is, it's really unfortunate. Yeah, a lot of them just have really bad color variations, which, again, it's a shame because the color variations idea seemed like a really good idea, but they got preoccupied with giving us Mustard Spider-Man instead of giving us stuff like this, which had a bunch of really good color variations and was also a good costume. Instead, you get the weird, like, pink and blue one for the Secret War Civil War one. And you get a lot of weird random things for a lot of these costumes, which just don't really fit a lot of the time. A lot of them are just kinda bad, and it's very questionable a lot of the time as to why they even did it. Yeah, again, lots of really baffling costumes which just aren't in the game, and again, but yet all the movie suits are in there, literally all of them. I wouldn't be surprised if one of the DLC suits they add is Japanese Spider-Man. I'd actually like that though, so they might not do that. That'd be fun. Japanese Spider-Man would be funny. That'd be fun. I'd enjoy that, even though it's another red and blue, which, I mean, we could maybe stand to have a few suits which aren't red and blue. And it's funny that they pretty much didn't include any spider armors, given how the previous game's costumes were so there was so many spider armors in the previous game that was just absolutely insane. Like there was like 5 or 6 spider armors in the previous game. Now granted, there are still spider armors in this game. There's still the Iron Spider. There's 2 different Iron Spiders in the game, which, I mean, come on, we don't need both of them. Get rid of the MCU one. That one sucks. Looks terrible. And yeah, I mean, there really could have stood to have been more black suits in this game. It's really quite strange that there isn't more of them, because it's the whole deal of the game. It's the black suit game. You'd think there'd be more black suits in it, but Miles has almost as many as Peter, which is baffling. You wouldn't think he'd have any. You wouldn't think he'd have any at all, but yeah, he has 3, which is shocking. Well, not even black suits, but symbiote suits. Like, Miles has 3 symbiote suits. And yeah, it's just quite bizarre there isn't more symbiote suits. Even, like, hell, like they did the Raimi black suit. Like, you'd think there'd be more variations of the black suit they could do. Like, there was the cloth one. They never did the cloth one isn't in this game. This clearly isn't the cloth one because it's still shiny. So I'm assuming this isn't supposed to be the cloth one, because it's, yeah, it's still shiny, so you'd think that it's probably not supposed to be the cloth one, because if it was, then it wouldn't be shiny. But yeah, you could do the cloth one, you could do a couple of these different ones, like there's probably, I think there's a like a black scarlet spider, you could do something like that, something which has that kind of design element to it. You could have done spider carnage, that'd be cool. You don't need to include the teeth, but I'd like it if they included the teeth, that'd be cool. But yeah, they could probably omit the teeth and get away with it, unfortunately. But yeah, my big asks are Spider Carnage, Spider-Man Unlimited, and there was another one which I mentioned at some point during this video. Sensational Spider-Man, that was the other one. Which again, it is quite shocking that just never got included in the first place. And again, there's a hell of a lot of animated suits in this game, a hell of a lot of Spider-Verse suits, hell of a lot of just weird choices all around. And given that the suits are the primary reward for doing stuff in the game, it is a real shame that so many of them are terrible. Because you do the game and you're like, oh, I want to buy some suits because that's the game's primary reward. But you go into the menu and then you're like, oh, I'm going to get a suit. And then you look around and you're like, oh, these are all terrible. And that's it. They're all terrible. So it's very frustrating to deal with. But yeah, anyways. That is us, more or less. I've been recording this for 3 hours now. So yeah, I feel like that is enough of a rundown, a wrap-up, so to speak. But yeah, so it was this has been a bit of a frustrating one, mostly because I was giving a lot of 5s and I gave at least 1 10 at least. I don't normally give 10s, but you know, I gave 1, and I gave 2 or 3 9s as well. So there was a couple of really good ones in here, but there was some real crap as well, some real bad ones. But yeah. Anyways, that is all the time I'm willing to commit to this. So I will say the outro, and then I will leave you. So, yeah, if you like this video, do whatever it is that you normally do, whether that be, you know, liking it or not. I would, of course, prefer if you liked it, but I can't make you do that, so if you choose not to, well, that's your choice. I would, of course, prefer if you did, but, you know, I can't make it. Same deal, if you want to subscribe, go for it. I would, of course, prefer if you did, but, you know, I can't make you do that either. So, yeah, I also don't need to remind you where the subscribe button is, because you've presumably seen a YouTube video before, so... yeah, if you would like to watch the next video, or yeah, if you choose to watch the next video, I will see you next time. So, with all that said, that is us, and I will say goodbye. Then I'll leave you. So, bye-bye.